WHB, Kansas City.
1950. That's the last time Baylor did this.
Rebound controlled by Bridges. 2 seconds to go. Bridges shot, no good. And the Bears have won over West Virginia. The Bears win it in overtime over the Mountaineers, 94-89. The Bears clinch a share of the Big 12 Conference Championship.
John Morris, Learfield IMG College. They get 25 from Jared Butler and taking the Mountaineers in OT, 94-89. First regular season championship for Baylor in 71 years. Davian Mitchell added 20 for the winners. Two matchups featuring 4 of the top 6 teams in college basketball. ESPN has 2 more from the Big Ten. At the break, number 4 Illinois leading second-ranked Michigan 33-22. Doing this without Ayo Dosunmu. Michigan's 22 points is the lowest of any half this season. Just set to get underway. It's Georgia Tech and Duke. You can see it on the ACC network as well as the ESPN app. NBA opening quarter, Celtics up 7 on the Clippers. Hawks lead the Heat up 4 in the first quarter in Miami. It's Nate McMillan's first game as Atlanta interim head coach. The Heat coming in having won 6 straight games. NFL, J.J. Watt says a pitch from Kyler Murray helped him ultimately choose the Cardinals in free agency. The Texans restructuring the deal for running back David Johnson. He'll get $6 million coming this season. And the Dolphins moving on from linebacker Kyle Van Noy.
It's Greeny getting ready for Legendary Voices Week. I'll have a different legendary broadcaster every day, beginning Monday with the one and only Vern Lundquist. Don't miss it with me, Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
Isn't this a sports show?
Being like a sports talk radio show host used to be what I wanted to do with my life. Used to be very exciting to me. I want to yell at little kids. I want to tell little kids that they suck.
Almost entirely.
You suck. You're adopted. Your mom's too hot for your dad. She's going to leave him soon. Get ready for it. Who do you like spending your weekends with better, your mom or your dad?
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
This is Sports Radio 810 WHB. Almost Entirely Sports is the name of the show. We're talking Game of Thrones because it's AES After Dark, where I can say phrases like sexual power play.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Is there a word that means both love and hate in some language? This show.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We've got some things to talk about around the Chiefs' offensive line, some of those good off-season storylines that we love so much, some improvements that they may need to make in the days, weeks, months to come. And we're going to talk about all of that tonight. We got a Seth Keysor Tuesday. Scott Chasen of Fog.net will join us to talk about some college basketball, some KU basketball here in an hour. But we have breaking news for you tonight here on Sports Radio 810. Robert Murray had at first source Gerard Dyson in agreement with the Kansas City Royals.
Bleep, yeah.
Run it back, baby! Run it back!
Run it back 2015.
It's 2016 all over again. Getting the band back together.
Heck yes.
What does speed do? No one ever reminds me anymore.
Would you trade Jackson Kowar for Eric Hosmer right now? Because I think I might.
I think there may be some salary weight that would need to be cash considerations.
Wade Davis is Royal.
He's on the roster.
Yay! I am now curious to know if that was a bid or if Beards genuinely
I didn't know.
Okay.
Beards,
yeah,
Beards, let's play Where is HDH? Where right now are Wade Davis, Kelvin Herrera,
I know
Greg
Herrera
Holland.
just retired.
Okay.
Is Greg Holland also a Royal?
I'm not going to tell you the answers to any more of these things.
That's my guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Royals have 2/3 of HDH again.
Woo!
And
They have
at this
HD.
point, they gotta get Herrera out of retirement.
Yep.
Bring him back.
Bring him back.
Bring him back.
Bring him back.
Or is there another closer we have with a?
No, I want the whole that we played that game
Can we
for a
also
while.
bring back Ryan Madsen? You remember Ryan Madsen?
Yes.
He was good.
Is Luke Hochevar still ready? He was our other H for a little bit.
Hoch is always ready.
He's got to be ready somewhere,
Hoch
right?
is always ready.
We were talking about Billy Butler on the show last night.
Bring him back.
Bring him back.
Alice Gordon, you retired a year too soon, buddy.
No, he's back. He's still got abs. He's coming back. Feel like Frank White could give you a couple of bats off the bench? We're not just going World Series team at this point, obviously. We're just expanding throughout Royals history. Where's Terrence Gore?
I mean, George Brett could still take out a second baseman with a slide.
Absolutely. It'll take him a little longer to get there.
Sure.
But those cleats are going to be up.
He's going to take somebody out.
John Heyman has also confirmed Gerard Dyson agrees to deal with the return to Royals pending physical. I'm guessing his physical is going to be passed because that man is made of lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, his bat often is too, and lightning doesn't make great contact most of the time.
Steven St. John just tweeted out, bring back Nori Aoki.
Yes.
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 The Aoki experience in right field was something, man.
We are sending Omar Infante to the All-Star game.
Woo! We came close in 2015.
Bring him back. Let us redeem ourselves as a city. Bring back Wade Davis. That may be this show's new rallying cry.
Where's Alex Rios?
Where is Alex Rios?
People sleep on Alex Rios. That year with the Royals, it wasn't too bad.
Alex Rios is no longer a professional baseball player.
Not as of today. Check again tomorrow.
Could be.
Well, not since 2015.
Did he retire with the title? Man, go Rios.
Who's paying James Shields right now? Somebody's got to be paying James Shields, right?
Four teams are paying James Shields
That's
right now.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
Alex Rios did retire a champion, man. He went out with the Royals. Good for him. I watched him. I was at a Royals Toronto game way back in the day, and I watched him and a fan yell at each other.
Really?
Yeah, a fan. I don't know what the fan said, but then Alex Rios turned around and did the big belly symbol with his hands and just kind of like hobbled back and forth, like because the guy who the fan yelled at him was a bigger guy, and so he just goes like with the belly, just with the hands.
It's pretty good.
We've done our
visual joke and audio medium.
Yeah.
I forgot to open the comments for today's shows. If anything awesome
Where's
happens,
Kendrys Morales? That's what we need. We need Kendrys Morales.
He's got to come back.
That's a good one.
You know who's still a free agent? Maikel Franco. That we're not reaching very far back into Royals history for that
fine
one.
with it. Bring him
but
back.
Bring him back. James Shields last year playing Major League Baseball was 2018. He did take $2 million in dead salary in 2019 from the Padres. Nothing in 2020 apparently, but a $2 million buyout it appears.
So you're saying he would be cheap?
What
if
do you
the Royals
think?
just because obviously they can't carry 50 players on the Major League team, but between Kansas City and Omaha, that should just be the run it back campaign.
And the Quad City River Bandits.
We haven't talked about that. The new minor league systems they got.
Yeah,
good nicknames.
We talked about the River Bandits like the day that it happened.
Did we?
You may not have been here. I don't know. We've had a weird sort of tagging in and out of various people.
We also may have, and I may have been here, and I just don't remember.
Totally possible. We definitely talked about the fact they have a Ferris wheel at their park and that their logo is a bandit raccoon, which is
good.
So choice.
Yeah. It's super. Like that's the minor league team of AES.
By the way, I know that Chris Young is currently serving as the GM of the Rangers, but do you think he could do double duties?
Wow,
Yes.
I
And also
forgot he was the general manager of the Texas Rangers. Great, yes, Beards. Yes, absolutely, yes.
Good
he can
poll,
pitch for the
Beards.
Royals.
Good poll.
Let's play.
Sorry, Brady. You got to go to Double-A to make room for these guys. This year's too important, Brady.
This year,
you got years left on your.
this might be a little dark, but if you think that Chris Young's elbow is going to last through an entire season as the GM of the
point.
Rangers, you're going to be wrong. But we don't need everybody active at the same time. Let's just sort of take it one step at a time and see where we end up.
Volquez is a free agent.
He's back, baby. Not anymore. He's not.
He was just hanging out with Chris Young in Texas.
Dayton Moore's got him on the phone right now, exclusively reported here. You guys want to play closest to the pin on James Shields' career earnings?
Oh man,
$12.
So he had
$13.
13 seasons.
And
you know that his 2019 season he made $2 million because I told you that already.
In all seriousness, I will say
$2 million and $12.
he got up to $145 million.
Beards,
I told you $2 million and $12.
if we're playing by Price is Right rules, Beards actually wins this game.
Wait, what? Because I went over.
You went over.
Yeah.
116, almost on the dot. Estimated earnings for James Shields. The most in 1 year was his second year at the Royals at 13.5. 2014.
Good for James. Big game, James.
Big wallet, James. Not quite as catchy.
No.
Man, that dude made
But
some
I would rather
money.
be big wallet James than big game James.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, those things typically go hand in hand, but I would still rather have the money.
Baseball
could be the
money is
worst.
absolutely
I could be
nonsense.
if you told me I was gonna be the worst. Like if you told me I was gonna have like 10 Bill Buckner moments,
Sure.
but I was gonna make $300 million.
Yes.
Gladly,
Happily.
I would gladly lose 10 different World Series
For
to
10
make,
different
like,
teams.
For 10 different teams,
30% of the country hates you.
yes, to make like $300 million.
What do you think Gerard Dyson's career earning number is?
Oh, he's 20 maybe. I bet it's gotta be pretty good.
Beards, what do you think?
20 million. Not 20 bucks.
75 million.
So, I mean, you both busted on this one. 16.
That was close.
Not a terrible, not a terrible living.
For a
Not-
50th round draft pick.
It also wasn't a bunch of huge deals there, obviously, right? Like a few $100,000 from the Royals, and then 1.2, 1.7. Got almost 3 with the Mariners, 3.5 over 2 years each from the Diamondbacks, and then just a little change from the White Sox, a little change from the Pirates last year.
Yeah.
Did he
Sure.
split his season between them last year? Then
It was a good, solid career for them.
he got traded. He got traded in August to the Steelers. Yep, that's it. He got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He got traded to the Pirates in August for international bonus pool money.
Steelers didn't need help on that defense. They were injury depleted.
They could use some more speed, and maybe they have to
Oh, boy.
replace
How was
Juju.
international? What was the rest of that word? Dang it!
I looked through the glass and I just saw Beards deflating. The air
Dang it.
left his. He was traded from the White Sox. Excuse me, I got that wrong. I got that backwards. In August, he was traded. Hold on. So in
I
February,
feel like
he
the
signed a $2
Pirates
million
trading them
deal.
would make more sense because the Pirates were a bad team.
He signed a $2 million deal with the Steelers in February last year.
They traded him to the Pirates.
They traded him to the Bears for $243,000 of international bonus pool money. How did international bonus pool money end up doing in the majors last year? Oh, good question, Beards. Funny joke.
Thank you.
Nailed the dismount. I'm Kermit the Frog meets, I don't know, what is his voice? I hate it.
Your Beard's impression turned into a bad Mahomes impression.
But it's not nearly gravelly enough for Patrick Mahomes. I'm turning into that guy from Family Guy who whistles, the old man.
Well, there was a second there.
Yeah.
You were the towel from South Park.
I'm not aware of what that is.
It sounds exactly like that.
But apparently it's done by a very
His name is Towley.
talented and a talented individual.
damn it.
Is this Celtics game live right now?
Yes.
I'm surprised we even got you on air long enough to F up a joke, Beards. The Celtics are on. We got Lakers. Suns. Is that after this game? Are these back to back?
Probably.
Beards helped me out today. Not saying I'm supporting Beards today.
Beards did one good deed for Rudy today, and Rudy is in his debt. Is this just until like midnight?
Yeah. Tomorrow.
End of the show?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So you look forward to seeing
I
how
will
that
not
plays out.
Joke about how the Celtics are a bad basketball team. Won't do it.
No,
Won't do it.
You will not make obtuse references to Boston's racist history.
I won't do it.
You will not do that today.
Will not acknowledge it.
You will not draw attention to the fact that the Celtics had all those picks and the greatest asset in the history of the NBA, Brad Stevens, and didn't win anything with it. You will not draw attention to that because you're being a good friend today, Rudy.
Heck yeah, I am. I won't do it.
It would be tacky to remind the world that for a moment, Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving were going to be the prizes that led Boston to the promised land. You will not bring that up. Not today.
Nope. Not happening. Well, I mentioned the comments that one of the Celtics owners said about how the team's really suffering because they lost Kyrie Irving, even though they all said Kyrie Irving was the reason why they were suffering.
Absolutely not.
not
Nope.
happening.
Tomorrow, maybe. Tonight, no.
Nope.
It'd make Beard sad. And today,
Sounds like you're doing a lot of mentioning over there.
today, we're not bringing. We're not even broaching the topic. No.
That's what I'm saying, Beards.
No, listen.
Won't
I mean,
bring it up.
has this year been a disappointment for the Celtics in pretty much every way? Who's to say? I won't say it because we're not talking about that in today's show.
Quiet.
I don't know. Sounds like it. Sounds like I'm gonna have to write that in my show notes.
That we just were that Rudy was just publicly thanking you for giving him a hand on something earlier.
Helps me out big time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Put that in the show notes, I guess. Beards, go off, man. Really roast Rudy for how thankful he's being for you. I think this has been a really nice moment. Do we have?
The Royals bring back?
I am really pretty excited. Jeffrey Flanagan just tweeted. I'm pretty sure from the safety of retirement, the Royals clubhouse is about to get much louder. Is what he tweeted. Quote tweeting the Dyson deal. $1.5 million. Really?
Go draw.
Huh?
New ownership, just splashing money out there.
Well, so I didn't think that this is where we were going to end up. But I'm glad I have his Spot Track page open now.
This is up to 17.5.
This is going to be the second most money, the second highest paid year he'll have with the Royals. And it's way more money than he made last year. Which I guess last year things were scaled down, so I don't know what his annual. I don't know what that math would have been because it was about $600,000 between those two teams, $700,000 or so.
And he didn't have
that might have been about this.
He didn't have a very good year last year, but now to be fair, like it's like we said with Benintendi, like last year was a weird year, so it's hard to. There's a little. I mean, here's the thing. And 19, Gerard Dyson wasn't necessarily that good of a player anymore. But you know what? Like I yelled this before the show. Like if the Royals are going to have a non-hitting center fielder who can cover a lot of ground, no offense, Michael Taylor, you probably are a blast to watch play defensively. I'm sure you're a good dude.
We don't know that.
You just don't have the ties to this city
That's
like
right.
Gerard Dyson does. If I'm going to watch somebody roam center field who can't hit, I want it to be Gerard Dyson all day long.
I'm a child because
That's a speed dude.
Because Steven had tweeted out, bring back Nori Aoki, and then someone responded to that tweet with the gif of Nori Aoki going for a sliding feet first catch of a fly ball, and it's that ball flew right into his protective cup. Hopefully.
It's so good.
It's in
Watching
slow
him
motion.
play right field was because a fly ball would get hit in the air, and he would cover about 60 feet of ground to only just end up in the spot where he started.
Yep.
To catch the ball.
And you're so right.
It was an experience, man.
Nori Aoki was out there for style points, 1,000%. I would be so happy for him to be back.
I wonder what he's doing these days.
Did we not look up Nori Aoki already?
I don't think we did. I assume he's playing in Japan currently. Maybe he's retired, but he last played in the big leagues in 2017. Okay,
I really thought this show was going to start with I have a big take about the Chiefs taking a tackle, 31 overall, and we're going to be distracted because
I got the Japanese and minor league stats loaded now, so we'll know if he's still playing.
Billy
2020, the Yakults.
Just keep taking a
the
swing at it.
Yakult Swallows. They went. You know what the record was? The Yakult Swallows went 41-69.
That's not great.
You know what Nori Aoki did though?
Not especially.
At 38 years old,
crushed it.
Hit 317 with a 424 on base and a 557 slugging. That's a 981 OPS. If Nori Aoki's ready for the big leagues. Guys.
Is he 30? He's 38. You said
he was 38 last year.
So coming into this season,
he's now 39
because his birthday's coming up in April. Billy Butler would only be 35. That's doable. It's baseball. Why is Billy Butler not on the Royals run it back roster?
Chaotic Warrior points out on Twitch, the Swallows lost 69 games last year.
I don't understand why that is relevant or worth referencing in a specific term.
Bring back Aoki. Dude's crushing the ball.
Don't answer this, Rudy. I want to see if Beards knows first, and then whenever he doesn't, I'll see if you know. Do you know the last team that Billy Butler took at bats with?
Oakland?
Rudy? Is that also your guess?
I believe it was the Yankees.
He had 32 plate appearances with the Yankees to end his 2016 year.
Yeah, because he went to Oakland from the
I
Royals.
completely forgot about his random
And then he had that
32 plate appearances with the Yankees.
little stint with the Yankees.
He raked
Those were
with New
the-
York. 345 batting average? Bring him back!
Those are the only 3 teams he played for, right? Royals,
Yeah.
Oakland. Cool. Nice.
One-time All-Star.
I mean, he was all over the place.
Silver
East
Slugger.
Coast, West Coast, Midwest. He saw the whole world.
Well,
Now he's in Idaho, living the dream.
I do think the world is larger than Oakland, Kansas City, New York for 2 months, but probably less than that, actually. Very weird that he ended his career with the Yankees. I just completely forgot about that.
Bring back Aoki.
Do we want to try to figure out what Gerard Dyson's role is actually going to be in the 2021 season? I feel like whenever we had talked to Lesky and Alec most recently, I don't think Max we ever really got to this, but I think there was a little bit of talk about just like deepening the outfield a little bit. I think it kind of makes sense.
My guess is Michael Taylor still the plan is for him to be the starting center fielder.
Yeah.
And like he's younger, so it makes sense. But like, yeah, if you're telling me right off the bat that we're looking at Benintendi left, Wood and right, Taylor in center field. When you start talking about the backup outfielders, it's Jorge Soler who you want to DH, and it's Hunter Dozier who's really going to play infield but can play outfield. If you're moving, for whatever reason, if you need him to for a game, you don't really have an ideal fourth outfielder really, or fourth or fifth outfielder. So like, it is a position where they needed more depth at. So. Because honestly, I'm now just trying to think of
the fourth
I mean,
one would have
probably
been
Nick Heath, right?
So I just pulled up because David Lesky just had another roster projection that went up either earlier today or yesterday, I think, and it's Benintendi, Michael A. Taylor, Witt, and then the difference between his last depth chart or whatever and this one was Edward Olivares versus Nick Heath, and Nick Heath was his pick on the more recent one. And he said part of that was without O'Hearn on the roster, I wanted a left-handed bat, and even if Heath isn't a slugger, he may be able to help with Taylor against some tough righties.
For sure.
But
and you also, again, you don't need like a lot of teams will carry 5 outfielders. The Royals don't need a truly designated outfielder because again, Jorge Soler can play outfield, Hunter Dozier can play outfield.
Right. In case of emergency and all of that, they've got plenty of options. Yeah. But which also allows you some other roster flexibility.
For sure.
I'm kind of having a good time about the Gerard Dyson return.
Yeah. I'm
enjoying that.
I wouldn't mind like Nick Heath would have just been intriguing to see just because again it's just he's a slightly taller. I think he's actually quite a bit taller than Gerard Dyson, but he's a younger, taller version of Gerard Dyson. But what you're hoping Nick Heath becomes is what Gerard Dyson at his peak was, which was a pretty good. Again, Gerard Dyson in 14 to 15 was a pretty good Major League Baseball player he was a good fourth outfielder. He wasn't the guy you necessarily wanted starting day in and day out, but he was the ideal fourth outfielder, and that's kind of what you're hoping Nick Heath probably becomes. And that would have been intriguing to watch. But also, the Royals are clearly I'm not totally sold in this year being the year that they can win. Right? I think this year is going to be more 2012 than 2013 because I think this is the year where the rest of the young guys come up, and then I think next year is kind of like 2013 where the Royals finally had a winning record. But the Royals clearly believe that they have a chance to win this year, and that Gerard Dyson help. It's a more of a sure thing, right? And also $1.5 million. For some reason, let's just say he's horrendous. You can bring up Nick Heath.
So, first of all, Gerard Dyson will turn 37 in August.
Mm-hmm. He's probably the second fastest Royal.
His picture on Baseball Reference with the Pirates.
Yeah.
He looks like he might be turning 57 soon. He looks a little haggard. He's got those hollow eyes.
You know what he looks like? He looks like he needs a nap.
He does. That's exactly right.
Gerard looks very tired in this photo.
And I'm just wondering if being back in Kansas City, that might just be a little rejuvenation that he needs. I'm not hating.
Yeah.
I just he's a little older than I thought he was gonna than I was thinking.
For sure.
And
I
his
would guess
picture was a little
35.
jarring. Yeah.
Like center field is absolutely like the glaring hole, right? Because like whether you're
I can't believe how many times we've said that dangerous word. That's how I know the Celtics are on. The reason I know the Celtics are on and the Beards is on Reddit is because we have said the code
Actually, I
word.
was pulling up Gerard Dyson's baseball reference page to put on the stream.
We've said the code word so many times, and we haven't activated this Cold War super spy yet. I'm afraid to even say what the code word is because I do not want to kick it off.
Between left field and right field is clearly a gaping hole. Where,
Yeah,
like,
middle deep field.
Yeah, middle deep field is clearly like the issue. Defensively, it seems like whoever it is, right? Heath, Taylor, Gerard Dyson, it's going to be really good because you have a guy who can cover all that deep middle field ground. Offensively, it's going to be a little dicey. A little Dyson, you could say.
I don't think I will say that.
I thought that was pretty good.
But it's okay if you did. If I was going to build a little counter argument here, and this is honestly typically kind of my standard line of thinking in terms of the Royals basically since winning the World Series and then going 500 and then me patting myself on the back. We have a liner for that somewhere. The general sort of core conceit for me is one thing that I very, very much dislike is, and this is also a big concern around Mike Matheny in St. Louis, is these veteran players getting relatively meaningless at bats that would be meaningful for a younger player in their development. If I'm going to build sort of the not so feel good counter argument take, that's where I would go. Yeah. I'd say, listen, man, Michael, do you know how old Michael A. Taylor is?
30?
He's going to turn 30 by the time this season starts. He turns 30 later this month.
He's a weird guy because I feel like around baseball...
I don't want to call him weird.
Not just the role. No, he's not weird.
Why is he a weird guy?
This aspect is weird because I think around baseball, people
like model trains
Michael
or
Taylor
something?
as like a... still like, kind of like as this younger player who's developing. But he is turning 30.
Nick Heath is 27.
Yeah.
Baseball ages are, and this has been because I tweeted out finally what Matt Derrick pointed out last night, which is that Sammy Watkins and Byron Pringle are the same age.
So wild.
Totally bonkers.
Yeah.
And so I've just kind of been in that headspace a little bit, basically the last 24 hours, kind of checking in on some of our he's young, he's old things. Gerard Dyson is baseball old. I mean, he'll turn 37 in August. Also, I think part of it has to be who you're taking the at-bats from, who you're swapping in and out from, etc. Michael A. Taylor's probably not going to turn into Lorenzo Cain out there at some point.
Yeah.
And so having Gerard Dyson as a guy who's going to get a handful of at-bats, who's a professional Major League Baseball player, that feels okay to me. Would it be better if Nick Heath developed than if Gerard Dyson got all those Nick Heath at-bats? Sure. But also, I'm still out here saying let's not take Nicky Lopez out of the rotation just yet because I want to see him get a full fair shake.
I think he needs.
I'm not really doing that for Nick Heath at this point.
Exactly, and so that's the thing. Like I'm normally 100% with you, and I think next year if this was all happening next year, I would be more annoyed because I would expect Kyle Isbell and some of those other outfielders to be ready. The reality is Kyle Isbell could absolutely force his way. Like he's going to start off, Kyle Isbell is going to be in a position this year like where Eric Hosmer was back in 2011, where it's like you go out and you hit 400 in the month of May, you get called up to the big leagues. He's very close. If he goes out and he just destroys the baseball, he'll get called up. But he has no real chance of making the team. He has no chance at all of making the team out of spring training. And the reality is he's going to spend the vast majority of the year in the minor leagues. So, that's the thing. Gerard Dyson and Michael Taylor aren't taking at-bats away from anybody yet. The problem will be, if let's say, come July, Kyle Isbell is hitting like 330, right, just crushing the ball, and they're still just trying to, trot these guys out. And again, I think Nick Heath, like the reality is his upside, like what the Royals are hoping is that he becomes Gerard Dyson, essentially. Yeah. Right. Like he got to the big leagues at 26. I believe Gerard also got to the big leagues at 26. And Gerard did develop the bat at a later age. Then now again, his best performances with the bat were not starting caliber levels, but they were good enough to be in the big leagues where when you coupled it with his defense, like, for his career, he's basically a 15 WAR. The bat got good enough, and that I think that's what they're hoping Nick Heath becomes. He probably won't ever even become Dry Dyson. It's just the reality of the situation. Dry Dyson, his career path is wildly unique. 50th round picks don't develop their bat, at 27 in the big leagues. Like, that typically is not how that works out.
The other thing, and this is something that Lesky brought up in his roster projection, that really has to do specifically with Edward Olivares, who's about to turn 25. He turns 25 in 4 days. Happy early birthday, Edward Olivares.
Happy birthday.
He's the guy from that group that you would say probably has the most overall uncertainty about what he develops into, which in this case is a good thing. Uncertainty means you're not just a fourth or fifth kind of outfielder type. But a point Lesky brings up there is that it might actually be more, at this point, it might be more beneficial for Olivares to play every single day
in AAA
and not have to worry about him just taking BP with the guys in the majors. You know what I mean? So,
and he's a guy too. Like, again, if he's going to be in a position to where, you know what, he can overtaking Michael Taylor is not going to be necessarily that hard of a task unless Michael Taylor just comes out obviously and crushes the ball. All Olivares has to do is just go down to AAA and crush the ball. Yeah. And the reality is, if you can't crush the ball in AAA, if you can't hit the ball in AAA, you're probably not going to hit in the big leagues anyways.
Yeah.
But he is a guy I would like to. I do hope, if you told me, my ideal scenario might just be throwing him out in center field every day, not signing Michael Taylor and just being like, hey, this is your job. We're just going to see what you can do.
And maybe it's Olivares and Dry Dyson's behind him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be my ideal scenario. But, Olivares isn't a guy, though, by any means where I'm just like, it's not like they're holding Bobby Witt down, right? Yeah. He's a guy with potential, but he's not, again, he's not the Bobby Witts of the world. He's not the Eric Hosmers or Mike Moustakas or even what Lorenzo Cain was or any of those guys.
Edward Olivares talk to start off the show. Just upsets over upsets out here. We may talk a little bit of Chiefs. We'll do much more of it with Seth Keysor of the Chief in the North newsletter and The Athletic and Times Ours here in about an hour and a half. Scott Chasen of 24/7 Sports to talk about KU basketball in about half an hour from now. Whenever we come back, who knows? Maybe the Royals will sign Wade Davis. We'll find out whenever we come back.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Visit your Kansas City Acura dealers for jaw-dropping deals on new and pre-owned Acura models. Get insanely low lease payments and huge financing deals on award-winning sedans like the all-new 2021 Acura TLX and best-selling SUVs like the 2021 RDX Crossover or the all-new 2022 MDX. Now's the time with test drives to your door and stackable savings for college grads and military. Plus, bonus rewards for current Acura owners and first-time Acura buyers. Shop your Kansas City Acura dealers today.
Hey investors, have you always wanted to get into the real estate investing game but don't have the money? Crossroads Investment Lending loans money for fix and flips. Locally owned and here to help you fund your real estate project. Call 913-766-2900 or go to kclend.com. That's kclend.com. Crossroads Investment Lending has helped hundreds of KC investors make their real estate deals happen. Call 913-766-2900 or go to kclend.com.
A walk and some ice cream with someone sounds like the perfect treat.
Making pizza with someone who's as into it as me? What could be better?
Ready to meet people who love to do the same things you do? It's easy. 1, open laptop. 2, go to OurTime.com. 3, start for free. OurTime is the #1 dating site made for singles over 50. It's easy to use and can help you find people who just want to do something fun. Find someone over 50 who loves to do what you do on OurTime. Go to OurTime.com today and start for free.
Spring training isn't just for baseball players. You can lose those pandemic pounds and get into shape before the warmer weather, since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. NJ Diet's program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet and workout regimen to help you keep it off. Don't want to do it alone? NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You will be fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You'll also get the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet offers live online video consultations, and they have a location close by, right off 435 by the corner of College and Metcalf. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET. That's 855-5-NJ-DIET. Or go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
What you doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me? I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
Hey, this is Stephen St. John for Window Nation. That recent blast of winter didn't just test your patience, it tested the integrity of your home's windows. Did they fog up? Frost up? Were they sweating with condensation? Could you feel cold air coming in? You need new windows. But that's actually good news because Window Nation's virtual home show extravaganza is going on now. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. There's no limit. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 24 months. Call Window Nation today for these once-a-year savings. But hurry, this offer is for a limited time. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and pay nothing for 2 full years. As a special bonus, call 866-90-NATION now and get a Nest thermostat with a house of windows. Call today for this buy now, pay later offer. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com and please tell them Stephen St. John sent you.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
You know, he does it kind of like a dead fish.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Oh, I can't remember who that was about. Who does it kind of like a dead fish, Beards?
I don't remember.
Oh!
I don't know if I ever knew.
Curses! Rudy, do you remember who does it like a dead fish?
No, Ned Yost dead fish.
Yep, that's definitely gonna find it a result. That's what I was just literally gonna just start Googling it because
You know who? I got it.
it was a pitcher, right?
Yep. You guys want to guess? He's a current Royal. Don't look it up. Stop looking.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
He's a current Royal.
He's a current Royal.
Yeah, each of you get a guess.
Wade Davis.
I was gonna say I was gonna do that. It's also very funny.
Not Wade Davis.
He's a current. Don't. If I say a name that's not it, don't tell me.
Okay.
I don't think that Danny Duffy does it like a dead fish. I don't think the roster's not that. There's not many that guys. I don't think Jake Junis does it like a dead fish. Bullpen arm right now.
Right now, a little up in the air.
Is it Junis?
It's Junis.
Really? Jake Junis does it like a dead fish?
Ned Yost says starter Jake Junis pitched well and is inflammable. Quote, he does it kind of like a dead fish. You don't ever see...
No. I don't want to know.
It's fair.
I don't want to know.
Also, I like how...
It's like, man, can you believe it at the end of Game of Thrones, the who sat on the Iron Throne was, no. I don't...
Under Ned Yost, he was Jake Junis, but under Matheny, he's Jacob Junis.
I think he's always been Jacob Junis, right? I call him Jake because we're good
under
friends.
Under Ned Yost here, it says Jake Junis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like in written
Ned
form?
Yost says starter Jake Junis.
Interesting.
But under Matheny, it's Jacob.
But with
Junis.
a K.
Yeah, Jake.
Because of all those strikeouts.
I know he's competing for a rotation spot. Can get real baseball here.
Yeah.
I think he could be. I don't want to say he'd be like quite Wade Davis like in his prime in the rotation, but man, just fastball slider, I think he could be pretty lights out in the bullpen.
So two baseball-based things here. In fact, one, I'm going to have you put a pin in the thing you brought up during the break about the HGH bullpen. Rudy.
HGH bullpen, I support fully an HGH bullpen.
HGH everywhere.
Let's use HGH to get HDH.
That's Wade Davis. There's like an apostrophe, like you're saying good day.
HDH to get HDH.
But this signing makes me happy
Payne
because
Manning's wife's got plenty of it. Actually, we can get a good price.
This signing makes me happy because do you know how hard it is to get beards invested in a Royals conversation?
Good point.
It literally just has to be 2014, 2015 Royals players, except for Wade Davis, weirdly.
The only good Royals.
Okay.
Right, but I mean, like, that's kind of what this is tapping into. It's kind of fun.
Royals hold off a week.
Yeah.
And then next week sign Norioki. Don't do it now. Don't get Kelvin Herrera now.
We'll just do it like
Let's
tomorrow at like 7.
I think Beers is gonna be engaged enough where I feel like maybe one more day.
Beards is already engaged. I know he didn't tell you ahead of time, but that did. He did do that already. It needs to be opposite a non-Celtics TNT game.
Or should it be opposite a Celtics game? Because that might be the only way we get him to pay attention during the
At
Celtics
that point,
game.
I'd rather just cut our losses, I think.
That's fair.
But it's fun. Like, because there was a comment on Twitch saying, let's talk about the Royals. I'm ready to watch baseball. It's still, to this day, kind of more fun to talk about the World Series Royals and the current Royals.
Which prospect should we trade to the Giants for Johnny Cueto?
There's no way he's still actively pitching, is there?
I think so.
I still follow him on
think he's-
Instagram.
I
There's
think
no
he's-
way.
I think he's a Giant still.
R.I.P. Popeye.
Did you see? Did he get a new horse?
He's a giant. He's a giant to me in my heart. Did he get a new horse?
I think he might have got a new horse. Yeah, he went 2-3 with a 5.4 ERA last year.
No kidding.
Yeah. Pitched, started 12 games.
That's stunning to me.
0.1 WAR. He was an above average player.
I'd start a war for Johnny Cueto.
I remember where I was when the Royals acquired Johnny Cueto. I was driving my car in Baltimore when I did that internship up in Baltimore. I was up there when they got both Ben Zobrist and Johnny Cueto.
What a time to be alive.
Oh boy, the excitement.
Where's Ken Zobrist at?
He definitely retired a couple years ago, I think. Which also is how you know that team, that was a few years ago. Like half of those dudes are pretty much pieced out at this point.
Yeah, he retired.
For now.
He seems like
It's
he's
not
stayed in
even
good
been a
shape.
year yet. It's not even been a year. That's,
Oh,
it's not
you know
val-
what?
It's
He
not
played-
valid until a year passes. We're
Here's
good.
the thing. He played in 2019. He just didn't play in a COVID-shortened season. Like
Did he?
Maybe he just was opting out.
Sure.
I don't think he actually was opting out, but maybe.
I vaguely remember him having a very brief sort of like retirement tour of some sort. But that's fine. He can come back.
Royals legend.
The other
59 games in glory with the Royals.
Is that what it was? It was 59 games.
Oh, is that just regular season?
Yeah, 59 regular season games. Hit 284, 364 on base, 453 slugging. Royals legend. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, oh boy.
There's been some like I don't know I don't know how it's actually happening or who's voting on it, but I've seen a handful of tweets about like the Royals Hall of Fame. Even more so than last year's Chiefs team, everybody from the World Series winning Royals team, and really maybe also just the World Series losing Royals team, just put them all in.
Yeah.
Just put them all in. Just put Lorenzo Cannon twice. It's
the
fine.
reality is like Kane, Hosmer, Moose, Escobar,
got to.
Perez, Escobar will like
You're right. You could tell that you knew that was the one that made my head twitch there, but you're right.
Because there's also like if you go look at his numbers, there's enough good offensive years in there. Like he hit 300 one year, which is weird to think about. And obviously, defensively he was.
That's unbelievable.
He was.
Did he really? I
He was
would have gotten
electric defensively.
I would have gotten that
Like
extremely wrong.
he'll be a Royals Hall of Famer. Billy Butler. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. I mean that bullpen HDH like that they're Royals Hall of Famers. There's gonna be a lot of guys from there, and then it's probably Gordon and Perez are the retired number arguments.
Yeah, that seems right. Lifelong career guy. Yeah, that
And
seems
putting
right.
Gordon in is a little bit of like it's you're not just retiring.
Did you
Gordon's
say
number.
Duffy?
Oh yeah, Duffy
in.
should.
Yeah.
And like if you retire Gordon, like if you retire Perez's numbers because he's legitimately just one of the like he's the best catcher in Royals history.
Yeah.
If you retire Gordon's number, he is the best left fielder in Royals history. But there is also a sense of like that's how you almost honor the 2014 and 15 Royals.
Yeah.
Like Perez, you're honoring him because of just truly how amazing of a catcher he is in the team's history. It's kind of like not like Frank White was obviously a phenomenal player, but Frank White was probably a little bit of that too, where it's like this is our way of honoring those teams, while George Brett was just a Hall of Famer who honored himself. Like Gordon's kind of the guy who like you're honoring the 14 and 15 Royals by retiring his number, and it should just be him laying on his back. Just he's ran into a wall and he's just laying on his back for 5 seconds. Like he even said it in his retirement press conference. It should be a statue of him just laying on the ground and then Salvi's holding a bucket of water over him.
Ooh, I think that they should have a shared. Jeez.
Well, that's just the statue they put in the fountain.
That's not bad. Salvi in the
statue
fountain.
just being the fountain is pretty good.
Listen.
Yeah.
Because you could put a water feature up through it where there's water coming out of the bucket.
Yeah, that's good. I know they want like a statue, obviously, like that you can like pose with, but you can maybe make like a little walk path so you can be close to it.
Salvi a water feature is a good idea, Beards.
That's a really good idea.
That's a good idea. Was the Celtics game a commercial?
Ooh. No, we're still going.
Maybe you have it next to Ned Yost. And he's like in the fountain's just spraying Ned Yost's statue.
I think this is all good.
Yeah. Ned Yost is gonna be in the Royals Hall of Fame.
Why did Chaotic Warrior ask if I'm okay on
know.
Twitch? Did I have something that seemed not okay?
Bad news I tried says
just
your son's hat's amazing, by the way. I forgot to mention that earlier.
What was that?
Bad news I tried says that son's hat is amazing.
Thank you. Suns Lakers tonight at 9, I think.
Correct.
Big game. Devin Booker and all of his good sons.
So many sons.
Crazy.
Pretty good sons, too.
Chris Paul is significantly older than Devin Booker.
Maybe.
One of Devin Booker's sons.
I haven't seen a birth certificate.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point, Rudy.
I have a lot of former Royals. I've just realized, like, baseball reference pages pulled up
right
now.
I have a lot of... I've got Nick Heath, Michael A. Taylor, Gerard Dyson, Edward Olivares' and James Shields' baseball reference pages open. That's never happened before.
Gerard Dyson, Nori Aoki, the 2020 Yakult Swallows, Nick Heath, Edward Olivares, Johnny Cueto, and Ben Zobrist.
Have we mentioned Chesler Cuthbert yet?
No. No, we haven't.
Such a happy boy.
Drew Butera with that hair.
Where's Drew Butera?
Drew Butera can work a walk, baby.
He was last with Colorado.
He could work a walk, and also he'd work that walk down to first base after he worked that walk.
Yeah.
Damn, Drew Butera, where you at?
Heck yeah. Why do I feel like he might be like a minor league coach?
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh no, he was in Colorado last year. Hit 154, 190 on base. Yeah, on base.
Paul Orlando hasn't played in a while, but you know.
Paul Orlando. I miss Paul Orlando also.
Christian Colon was the red.
Well, I was just gonna say
Christian Colon plays for the new.
I was just making sure I had the right guy because you said Chesler Cuthbert and I thought it's two CCs again.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Colon. I don't know if we ever talked about this on the show or not. It's very cool that he's going to be a part of the formerly T-Bones, now Monarchs Baseball Club, because you get
smart move by them.
You know how hard it is to get a bit of a local baseball legend actively playing for your like independent league baseball team. Like that's a tough.
And
gig.
you have the guy who has like 2 of the biggest hits in Royals history.
It's a very good idea for everybody. Like we joke about how Mitch Lightfoot, you know, he'll try to be around. He'll be in Lawrence for his entire life.
He'll be in Lawrence longer than Greg Gurley is. Greg Gurley's been there a while, man.
So here's a question.
But Christian Colon's basically by playing for the Monarchs. I don't know, calling them just the Monarchs is still a little bit weird for me to be honest.
For sure.
But the new Monarchs, him playing for it's like the New Mutants movie that apparently came out that I
did come out.
We don't need to worry about it.
I kind of want to watch it still.
Do you want to play the Rotten Tomatoes game real quick with that? Because I know what it is.
6.9%.
It's about right there.
I do want to watch it though.
But Christian Colon playing for the Monarchs is basically like there is some Mitch Lightfoot and Lawrence Forever kind of vibes there. Like continue to play baseball professionally in the city that knows who you are. Like that's a pretty good. That's
if there was like
gig.
a G League team like in Kansas City, it would be like that G League team just being like, "Hey, we want Mitch Lightfoot."
What did you want to tell us, Beards? What was your?
Oh, what do we want to do about Brandon Finnegan?
Wow.
Oh boy.
He's young enough to still be doing something somewhere, right? Where's he right now?
He weirdly, I don't know why. If you told me he was the one guy who still wasn't in baseball anymore, I wouldn't be surprised. He has not.
He has not played since 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
I think he's on the team.
Not nationally.
He is currently with Cincinnati.
He
in spring
sure
training.
is.
Yeah.
I'm going
but
to.
He did not play though in 19 and 20, at least in the big leagues.
Right.
I am currently on redlegnation.com.
He started a game,
which is not a good URL. It's not a good name for a website.
It's not terrible.
It's pretty awful. Reds lefty Brandon Finnegan shows good velo. New pitch Monday. Brandon Finnegan got the start for the Cincinnati Reds on Monday afternoon against the Oakland Athletics in a 13-5 loss. The score of the game doesn't reflect the job that Finnegan did.
Nearly two perfect innings. Two nearly perfect innings.
He obviously did not play minor league baseball in 2020, but he was in
wasn't.
Cincinnati's system in 2019. So I assume he was in their system in 2020 as well. They just obviously did not play.
Trade Bobby Witt for him.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already. For the latest on the Kansas City Royals, keep it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Let's get ourselves into a really good place and get going.
You have 2 good months and you play 500 the rest of the way, you're probably in the playoffs.
They're going to be ready, and they like to compete. They're aggressive.
Everybody should go out every year and do what they can to make their team the best they can. And our ownership and our front office understands that.
Kansas City's home for Major League Baseball. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
With the rising threat of cybersecurity attacks, you need to ensure your business is fully protected. Data loss, ransomware attacks, and other breaches can disrupt your business and damage your reputation. Consolidated Communications Cloud Secure Service safeguards your business from these attacks by securing your network, data, and applications. We proactively monitor your security to prevent intrusions before they compromise your IT systems while protecting your staff in the office or when working remotely. Visit consolidatedcommunications.com/cloudsecure to protect your business.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Okay, so you met the love of your life. She's dropped all the hints, and you're totally committed. Now what? Come to Shane Company and get the ring. You gotta experience a visit to Shane Company. Get to the store or go online and see what it's all about. You won't believe all our ring settings. Those halo rings she's been liking on Instagram? Yeah, we got those. Classic solitaire rings? We've got those too. Whatever it is she loves, in every price range, it's here. Not really sure? We'll help you figure it out. With our huge assortment of always natural, always ethically sourced diamonds, rubies, and sapphires, you'll have tons of options to create a ring that's so her. Our non-commissioned jewelry consultants will help you get an awesome ring that fits your budget, whether you come into the store or go online. You can even book an in-store or virtual appointment. We'll make sure her engagement ring is perfect. And the proposal? Well, that's where you get to shine.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Men, do you suffer from erectile dysfunction or Peyronie's disease? Has Viagra stopped working? Most ED cases are caused by plaque buildup, which causes blockages and restricts blood flow. Even Viagra can't get through. But thanks to the doctors at West Coast Men's Health, a revolutionary medical procedure is now available. Using acoustic wave therapy, this non-invasive, pain-free treatment breaks down plaque, restores blood flow, potentially reversing ED for good. And women, if your man has ED, talk to him about acoustic wave therapy and how West Coast Men's Health can help, regardless of age or medical history. Call 913-243-3200 to schedule an evaluation. Be one of the first 10 callers and qualify for the special $99 consult fee, normally $199. That's 913-243-3200 or online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
The Kansas City Comets are back in action this Saturday and Sunday for a pair of games against the Tacoma Stars and the Ontario Fury at Cable Dahmer Arena with playoff positioning on the line. Comets Arena Soccer is fast, furious, high-scoring action for the entire family. And all seats are socially distanced this season for fan safety. Get your tickets today for the Kansas City Comets versus the Tacoma Stars on Saturday night at 6 p.m. or Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. against the Ontario Fury by calling 888-9-COMETS or by visiting Ticketmaster.com.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
My favorite memory of this last run of Royals players is every time this year that I said they're going to be a 500 team, and then everyone yelled at me.
Of course you make it about you.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
So maybe a month or two ago, Beards wasn't here. I don't remember. I think Beards may have been on the COVID reserve list. Rudy and I opened up the Dork Club
and kind of invented that as the first
that
time.
was not here for this.
Who do we got?
Are we even allowed to put in a regular guest?
Oh, is it who I think it is?
As much fun as reunions are, and as much as I love Dyson, I have to say that I'm not so sure the signing is a great idea. Sprint speed was way down in 2020, and he's hit 213, 296, 288 the last 3 years. His defense and center even rated poorly last year.
I vote yay.
David Lesky, I don't know. I
vote yay.
I'm not voting him in right now. I'm not voting him in right now.
What's your vote, Beards?
I'm not
I
even fully nominating Lesky.
You guys are no fun.
But it's some dork-like behavior.
Do it, coward. Put him in the dork club, coward.
Dork-like behavior, Lesky.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Spring training isn't just for baseball players. You can lose those pandemic pounds and get into shape before the warmer weather, since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. NJ Diet's program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet and workout regimen to help you keep it off. Don't want to do it alone? NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You will be fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You'll also get the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet offers live online video consultations, and they have a location close by, right off 435 by the corner of College and Metcalf. Call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Or go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
Warm weather is here. Spring has arrived. It's time to get that lawn back into shape. Do you want the best-looking lawn, but you don't want to have any harmful chemicals? Well, then go to getsunday.com. That's right, getsunday.com. You go there, you put in your home address, and their free lawn analysis tool takes care of the rest, all in just seconds. Sunday uses soil and climate data to create a tailored nutrient plan, so you get all the stuff your lawn needs and nothing it doesn't. Sunday is made with ingredients that you can actually pronounce, like seaweed, iron, and molasses, so you can grow better and feel better about it. Sunday explains exactly what you need, and everything is waiting right at your door exactly when you need it. All I had to do was attach the ready-to-use pouch to a garden hose and spray. It's just that easy. Let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener, more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit getsunday.com/Petro to get $20 off your custom lawn plan at checkout. That's $20 off your custom plan at getsunday.com/Petro. getsunday.com/Petro.
The home of the Jayhawks. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Here comes Ochai, 3-on-1, a lob to Mitch, deep catch, goes up and under, and he got it to fall. Two more for Lightfoot. KU pouring it on.
The official radio home for Kansas Athletics in Kansas City. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Death, taxes, and the Jayhawks winning on senior night.
Thursday, Kansas faces UTEP. Tip-off at 7 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, this is Stephen St. John for Window Nation. That recent blast of winter didn't just test your patience, it tested the integrity of your home's windows. Did they fog up? Frost up? Were they sweating with condensation? Could you feel cold air coming in? You need new windows. But that's actually good news, because Window Nation's virtual home show extravaganza is going on now. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. There's no limit. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 24 months. Call Window Nation today for these once-a-year savings. But hurry, this offer is for a limited time. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and pay nothing for 2 full years. As a special bonus, call 866-90-NATION now and get a Nest thermostat with a house of windows. Call today for this buy now, pay later offer. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com, and please tell them Stephen St. John sent you.
Oh, ship! I need to get this package downtown by noon.
Don't worry. There's a brand new on-demand delivery service by Z-Trip. It's Z Shipping.
Are you shipping me?
No, we're shipping your packages.
For the quickest, affordable, on-demand courier service, visit zshipping.com. zshipping.com. Let Z-Ship help you with your delivery needs. That's zshipping.com.
Kansas City's favorite sports station, 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
Sports talk powered by fans. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. The power of sports. WHB, Kansas City.
Well, a stunning outcome thus far in Ann Arbor, where fourth-ranked Illinois, playing with arguably without their best player, is handing it to number 2 Michigan, 71-47, just over 4 minutes to go in this one. Ayo Dosunmu is out of this game. Michigan, 22 points in the opening half, their lowest outcome of any half, and they are down big after just getting pushed up to the second spot in the latest rankings. Top 2 in the Big 12 getting together, talking about third-ranked Baylor and number 6 West Virginia. They went to overtime with the Bears outlasted the Mountaineers 94-89. Jared Butler led the way with 25 points. It's their first regular season Big 12 title for the Bears in 71 years. Butler postgame.
It means a lot, especially for Coach Drew and Coach Tang. All the guys that passed through Baylor, Tweety Carter, Rico Gathers, just guys like that. It just means a lot to the program. It just means a lot to me just to do it with these guys. They're such great guys. Probably the top number 1 moment ever at Baylor, pass all the games, all that.
At 19-1, they bounced back from the loss to Kansas. NBA, Kawhi Leonard, a late scratch with back spasms. Clippers in Boston. Paul George picking up the slack. He is 21 at the break. LA up 63-62. Miami came in winners of 6 straight, and they have a 1-point edge now on the Hawks at 50-49. It's Nate McMillan's first game as Atlanta interim head coach. Indians manager Terry Francona said no one in the Cleveland organization covered up for former pitching coach Mickey Callaway, who's under investigation by MLB.
Hey, it's Greeny, and Wednesday, Legendary Voices Week continues with Bob Costas. We'll go all across the world of sports with him, and we'll try and get to the bottom of how Wilt Chamberlain is not on basketball's Mount Rushmore. See you then. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Because a box and one would be paying extra attention to one person while having the other 4 players in zone. But in this case, you would just be ignoring the 5th dog on the court.
With Joshua Brisco.
So perhaps a Barkson one.
It was really my pleasure to join you on the station for the last time in its final episode.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I just am incapable of feeling shame at this point. Sorry, guys. Every time it happens, I'm just continually tickled with myself. I can't imagine that Scott has ever stopped being angry about that pun, but that's how things go sometimes. And you might think it's best to let a sleeping dog lie. I disagree. Scott Chasen of Fog.net. That's the KU side of 247sports.com. You can go to Fog.net or Kansas.247sports.com to see all of Scott's work running that site. You can also follow him at Chasen Scott on Twitter. Scott, how are you doing? Did that liner change your mood in any way, one way or another?
No, what's funny here is obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, the last time I came on the show, there was a funny liner that introduced me that made a joke about someone that I was recently talking to, just in terms of them being a source. So Josh went out of his way to make sure he would not offend a current source of mine so much that he dug up a liner about Airbud basketball. I appreciate it. That's amazing.
The only thing you have wrong there is that was Rudy's idea, and then Beards dug it up. I'm just a bystander throughout most of the liner choices that get made because they're often at my expense. That one just highlighted perhaps maybe my proudest moment on the airwaves.
Yeah, I mean, that one is also fine until I start looking to interview Airbud, and then all of a sudden he's going to be mad at me too.
You're going to be working on a story with a bunch of the Air Buddies, and then that line is going to pop up, and all of a sudden you're going to realize that you have offended Airbud 1. But, listen, that's sometimes this industry is messy, and sometimes you got to interview a dog that you badmouthed on the radio one time.
Yeah. I was trying to think of, on the fly, I mean, you'd be better at this than me. Do we call those, like, bad mouth? Is there, like, any kind of specific dog pun you think I could start throwing out or working into my appearances. See, when you give me a liner like that,
Yeah.
I always try to find a way to make it circle back around, but I'm really coming up flat here.
Yeah, I mean, I tried saying that we should let a sleeping dog lie. That was sort of my kind of subtle loop around. But honestly, at this point, I think it'd probably be best for everybody if we just put that one down and moved on.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you for the validation. You tweeted about this and texted me about this, and I figured I would just ask you for clarification now. Can you please explain, and really at this point, amplify your latest TV recommendation and explain why this show is worth watching?
Well, they're paying me to promote it. No, I'm just kidding.
Good.
Although
Get that bag.
No, I did tell Beards about it, too, just because, I have to have something to talk with Beards about. My life isn't very exciting, so it's television. No, I'm just watching. I found it, I think I've watched everything that's on Netflix now, so I was looking for something new to watch. I found a show. It's called Alice in Borderland, like Alice in Wonderland, but Borderland, and nothing at all like what I imagine. I've never actually seen Alice in Wonderland, but I can't imagine the two are conceptually similar.
Have you played the video game Borderlands?
No.
It's also not related to that, so.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's about these kids who wake up, and similar, I guess, to Alice in Wonderland, they're in a different world, but it's a kind of dystopia with, they have to play these lethal games, a bunch of people die, it's a horror series, kind of combines, Cabin in the Woods with The Hunger Games, with Black Mirror. It's really dark. It's not a family show, but it is a good show, and it's really distressing and stressful. And so if you need a little bit more anxiety in your life, I highly recommend it.
So this is the thing.
I'm always looking for anxiety.
This is the thing. It's also, this is where I feel like it might be more up Rudy's alley.
It definitely sounds like it's up my alley.
Well, it's also, hold on. Did you even mention that this is a Japanese series that is either subbed or dubbed over to English?
Yeah, well, look, the subtitles I've been told are the way to go. I will say this. The dubbing is fine, but it's I think Netflix probably needs to do a better job with dubbing where it isn't so ridiculous over the top voice acting. Yeah. And look, I feel for the people who are in voice acting and whose job it is to do the dubbed whatevers because look, they can only do so much and they have to act with all this extra emotion because, whatever's going on. But sometimes it gets a little bit over the top, a little bit crazy. That being said, I didn't find it that distracting. But yes, it was I'm assuming almost all the characters are Japanese or Asian, and there are a lot of characters. But yeah, the whole thing takes place in somewhere in Japan. I can't remember where
Tokyo.
right now. Oh yeah, but it's one of the districts. It's a specific district there.
Gotcha.
It also is apparently based on a manga.
Yeah.
I noticed.
I looked it up and read it.
All of this is that even if this doesn't hit from me or Beards, this feels like you and Rudy are gonna have something to talk about next time.
I haven't watched a bunch of them yet, but Netflix has a weirdly good amount of Japanese, Netflix original Japanese original series.
Yeah.
That from what I've heard there's a lot of just truly fantastic stuff.
There you go.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't know that.
It's not anime or cartoon, although that. There have probably been a few series that I've liked that are, but it's live action and acting and huge budget, and it's kind of crazy. It's pretty cool.
What's the worst thing that you've watched on Netflix? You said you feel like you've watched pretty much everything on Netflix at this point. What did you watch and you were like, boy, Howie, I would like my time back, please?
That's such a good question because I know there are things on there that I've watched that I've hated. And there are things that I've watched on there that I loved the first time and then watched again. And I was like, wow, this was actually bad.
Interesting.
I think, what was the one? Maybe it was Always Be My Maybe or something.
That's a thing. I've heard of that.
I watched that the first time. I think it was that. It might have been something else. And I was like, wow, this is hilarious. This is heartwarming. It's great. And then I watched it again and I was like, I do not know what I was thinking. I don't know. Do you have one that comes to mind while I think of one?
No, I really don't. I will try to filibuster because whenever we shortly after Valentine's Day, we did power rankings of rom-coms, and I didn't note that one of the only I think kind of true rom-coms that I've really enjoyed was About Time, which is something that you and Sean Collins both bullied me about until I watched it, and it was very good. But no, I think. I'm currently in a place right now where I have started rewatching, girlfriend Renee and I have started, and you have to put in the girlfriend part for new listeners. It keeps everybody up to date. Yeah. Girlfriend Renee and I have watched, we started rewatching New Girl on Netflix just because it's a good thing to have just going on while I'm playing Hades or Animal Crossing on my Switch or something. Peacock, I've bit the bullet on. So Parks and Rec and The Office are there, just like the rewatch options.
Yeah.
But I really don't know if there's been anything that I've watched and bailed. You know what? Actually, the 4th season of Arrested Development did that for me, and I eventually powered through. But that was one of those things like, well, this really wasn't worth my time.
Yeah, I have one. It was the show The Blacklist with like James Spader.
Yes,
and
Blacklist.
I'm sure other people. Yeah, I watched I think 2-ish seasons of that show, and then I realized there were like 1,000 more episodes, and every single episode was exactly the same. And I was like, no, I do not know how you can do this. But like the first couple seasons were pretty good, but no, I did not have the energy to make it through more of that.
I'm the same. I think I've seen either 2 or 3 seasons of it also, and I honestly thought it had been canceled because I just like didn't see it anywhere for a while, and then all of a sudden it was at season 7. And I never decided to continue watching. Like once I realized, like, oh, they made like 4 more seasons of the show, because I essentially figured the same thing you thought. Like it was good. I think it's one of those shows that like I just don't know how you add anything original after like 2 or 3 seasons. Like you're just doing the same thing. Yeah.
Well, and think about like Criminal Minds, which has like 28 seasons.
Yes.
Now I love Criminal Minds. I've seen
Great
way
show.
more than 2 or 3 seasons.
I've seen it
But
all. Yeah, it's
like
great.
there are times in my life where I can watch Criminal Minds, and there are times in my life where I would want to do nothing less than watch an episode of Criminal Minds because I've seen 1,000 of them. So it comes and goes, and those are rewatchable too. But no, I did a horrible job explaining it earlier, just because I'm literally on my second rewatch of it already, or my first rewatch, my second watching. But no, the thing that drew me to Alice in Borderland is I love puzzles, and I love games that you, the audience, get to figure out, and in this case, life and death situations. So obviously any mistake, people are going to die. But it divides the games into 4 categories, which I think are really interesting, and they come with cards. And one is like it's a type of game that's a physical test. One is a mental test. One is a teamwork test. And then the 4th category of the game is kind of ambiguous, but it's the nastiest. It's the kind of game like it shows up, and it's like you don't want to be in this place when this is happening. You just want to avoid it at all costs, but the characters don't know, they can't avoid things ahead of time, and it always sets the tone for the episode. It creates like this really ominous nature, especially because the games are numbered in difficulty. So you might start a game and find out it's the hardest difficulty in the hardest category, and look around and say, everyone in this room is probably going to die, and it makes it really interesting. The stakes are really high, and it does a good job of establishing characters. Already been renewed for a 2nd season.
I'm absolutely gonna. This is going on my list. I'm absolutely.
I put it on my list, and Scott told me that I was never going to watch it, even though it was on my list, which is honestly a fair bet. I just, it's a good sales pitch.
You got to get to episode 3. That's all I would say. You got to get to episode 3.
I haven't seen it, but another one, like one of the Japanese dramas on Netflix that I've heard is amazing, is Erased, which it seems like, again, I haven't watched it, so like I have my rough understanding. It seems to be kind of like, I don't know if you remember Butterfly Effect, like the old Ashton Kutcher movie from way back in the day.
I remember the poster.
It seems like a good version of that made into a TV show.
Good stuff, Scott. Thanks for being on with us tonight.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, he provided me a new TV show.
No,
effect.
no, I wasn't. No, that wasn't. Listen, what happened there is I thought maybe you would have something on that. Maybe Rudy would have something on it. I realized
that's all
I
I
had
had.
nothing else, and then I thought, well, I could just make a joke about hanging up on you, and then we could talk about KU.
I'm all in though on Alice in Borderland.
Did you? I imagine that you saw Knives Out at some point, Scott?
No, I didn't. I looked up the Wikipedia description because I didn't have the patience to go and see it.
Really? That's disappointing. I finally watched it a couple weeks ago, and it's not a puzzle movie by any means, but I really enjoyed it. And I was going to say, if you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. I don't know if it would be as lovely while having known what happened via Wikipedia, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was very pleasant.
Yeah, no, it sounded like it was a really great movie. I think if I'm remembering correctly, it came out around the time of maybe a little bit before the NCAA tournament last year, and I remember being like, I kept wanting to go see it and kept getting busy, and then finally I was like, you know what, Wikipedia is a thing that exists, and why would I go watch a movie when I can read 300 words about it, know everything that happens?
I guess I'm going to go read the Wikipedia entry for Alice in Borderland and then tell you how much I loved it.
It's pretty expensive.
Okay, maybe I'll just watch the show. I do have a handful of things I'd like to talk to you about around KU, and also just some of the things going on in the Big 12 specifically at the moment. Baylor, West Virginia earlier tonight was really was a barn burner, as the kids say, but Baylor won that after losing to KU on Saturday night. What did you make of that, of the way that game played out, and what you thought was the most interesting takeaway from KU Baylor?
Well, KU Baylor and Baylor West Virginia I kind of put together, and I watched the end of Baylor West Virginia just because I maybe not predicted is the right word, but I started noticing, late in the game, the narrative very quickly becoming, well, Baylor's rusty, Baylor's this. And sure, I'm guessing Russ had something to do with it, but that Baylor team that was too rusty to hit a shot on Saturday only had 3 turnovers. That Baylor team that was apparently really rusty on Saturday got a lot of the normal looks it gets with just great players and great shooters, and some of them didn't fall on the road in an environment in Allen Fieldhouse with 2,600 listed fans, but I would tell you, 1, I think there were more than that, and 2, that environment was better than some non-conference games I've been to when Kansas has had 16-3 in there. I mean, the people who were there were loud, and maybe you've seen that at times in other sports. If you get the right people in there, it doesn't always matter how many are there. I think the Bills had a game like that, where sometimes if you just get crazy enough people in there, you can make the environment, crazy. And it was senior night, and Marcus Garrett played well, whatever, but I came away from that game thinking, Baylor's rust probably had less to do with it than Kansas being extra juice, with Baylor having already beaten Kansas, with Baylor being ranked so highly, with it being senior day. And that was really validated with, watching Baylor take down West Virginia in overtime. I think Jared Butler might have fouled out in overtime or late in regulation of that game. And again, it's like, wow, this Baylor team that was too rusty to be on the court against Kansas just took down the number 6 team on the road. That's interesting. That tells me, maybe that the difference between those 2 games was, 1, why did Baylor look so bad offensively against Kansas, so good offensively against West Virginia? Well, Kansas's defense is up to number 8 in the country on KenPom, whereas West Virginia's is, I believe, 55th. So that tells you that Kansas is actually doing a lot of things right and a lot of things really well. And I think that Baylor win looks better and better based off the result that happened today.
What do you think it is that has made this Kansas defense so exceptional, especially as of late? Because listen, even to I do not consider myself to be like an expert basketball strategist. You're going to say some things here that I'm going to understand, but I'm not going to be able to write all this down ahead of time. I understand that Marcus Garrett is an extremely good defender. That makes sense to me. But KU as a unit, I feel like I personally have a much harder time making all of that make sense in a way that you can look and go, oh yeah, well I see the result here, but what's the process there? What has KU done to put up these recent defensive performances as an entire team?
Well, I just say this. Sometimes I think as much as we dive into the weeds with football and basketball about, strategy, individual things, sports are a lot simpler at times than I think people like myself like to make them. Sometimes I can be guilty of overcomplicating. A good example, hey, the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl. Well, it wasn't because of some route concept that Tampa Bay scouted really well and they had this counter and it just, no, it was the Chiefs offensive line was really, really hurt. And Tampa Bay got to the quarterback. Okay, game over. That pretty much decided the game. And a lot of KU's games have kind of followed that pattern. KU loses to Texas, gets blown out. KU shoots horribly from 3, like 3 for 22 or something, and Texas shoots like 45% from 3. And the difference there is 25 points in terms of made threes or whatever it was. And boom, that's the difference. And to me, it's a little more complicated to say, well, why is KU better on defense? But I think that the biggest thing is that KU's just doing things they're better at on defense now. And before, KU was asking David McCormick to play like he was a big man that he wasn't, to, ice a ball screen, to force a ball handler to one side of the court and recover. And, maybe he wasn't the best at that. But what he is really good at is trapping the ball handler. He's really good about sliding his feet on the perimeter as compared to, running back and being out of position and then being, super athletic and making a block. That's not really his game. So Kansas said, okay, let's we're going to try something. We're going to trap a little bit more in the perimeter. We're going to have the guards rotate behind David McCormick. And the results were pretty good. And, at first it was a bit of a struggle. The guards would mess up their assignments, I would say, borderline routinely. Guys like Christian Brown, Jalen Wilson didn't really know what they were doing. But then what happens? You play it more, you get used to your new system, and then boom, all of a sudden this team makes a dramatic defensive improvement. So, I mean, the real schematic change is probably changing how they rotate and changing how, what David McCormick does, what his responsibility is. But the simple answer is KU changed its defensive scheme. They needed time. They've had it, and now they're better at it. And that's, as simple as that. Bill Self doesn't coach bad defenses with maybe the exception of like 1 or 2 years. He doesn't coach bad defenses. He's a great defensive coach, and he's figured out his defense. They've had time to learn it, and, there you go. Kansas makes a big jump.
Another thing that I've found interesting that I don't know if we have enough of a sample size over the course of the entire season seems funny at this point because we've had this entire season, but especially over just the Texas and Baylor games, it feels like there are 3 different versions of KU for the most part, with McCormick playing as well as he has as of late. You've got McCormick in 4 guards, you've got 5 guards, and you've got Mitch Lightfoot in 4 guards. And obviously, there's a lot more going on there. But I guess Lightfoot's minutes seem like they went very, very differently from the Texas game to the Baylor game, and having some excellent moments and a good stretch against Baylor, and having some very visible ones whenever McCormick was dealing with foul trouble against Texas. But do you think that there's something to the idea that there are these kind of like 3 different little Kansas teams within the one, and how each of those have performed as of late, even maybe back before the Texas game whenever I started paying attention?
Yeah, I mean, look, David McCormick has been, and I spoke about this last time, obviously he's been Kansas's best option, when it comes to, whatever lineup you want to run, 4 guards around him. Mitch Lightfoot has been the one that I think has really faded, has really struggled. He was really, really bad against Texas. And you know what? He was really, really bad in the first half against Baylor, but he turned it around in the second half. He played only 8 minutes in the second half, but he had about a 5-minute stretch there, or maybe it was less. Maybe it was like 3 minutes.
I had 4 in my head for some reason, and I could not tell you for the life of me why.
Well, he changed the game down that stretch. He scored 4 points. He had 3 of his 4 rebounds in the second half. He took a charge in that run, and he went on a 7-0 run. Now, Kansas doesn't beat Baylor without David McCormick. He scored 20 points. He was sensational. He didn't get a bunch of rebounds. I think he had 3 offensive rebounds, and that was it. But also, if you actually watch the when he's on the glass, there aren't a ton of times where the ball bounces his way and he just fumbles it to an opponent. That's more of a Mitch Lightfoot, he'll get out-muscled for the ball at times kind of thing. Whereas with David McCormick, he's usually boxing out his guy. But unlike Doak, and Udoka Azubuike was good enough to box his guy and then the super athlete who could still jump up and get it, David McCormick doesn't quite have that. So he's usually in a place where he takes his guy off the glass. David McCormick's man is not going to get that offensive rebound, but then it's up for one of the other KU guards to rebound it. And again, lucky for KU, they have guards who can. Jalen Wilson is an excellent rebounder. Christian Brown is an excellent rebounder. It's why those 5-guard lineups work at times. But, the 5-guard lineups are interesting because for them to really work their best, they have to, punish the other team offensively, and they don't always do that. And a good example is, again, that Texas game. McCormick gets into foul trouble. The 5 guards, play really, really well. I think they had a plus-minus of maybe plus 13 or plus 11, plus 14, something like that. And fans won it in the second half. Well, they did use it in the second half, and they had a minus 11.
Yeah.
So they got outscored by 11 points when they were on the court. But fans still after the game will say, we'll ask at least me and I'm sure other reporters questions like, well, the 5 guards are working. Why didn't they go back to that? And it's like, no, they did. It's just they don't always work. It's very situational. And once a team gets into a groove against it offensively and it's not bothered by the quickness of it and it gets used to playing against it, well, all of a sudden that's kind of danger zone. There's not many, pivots and answers you can go to there. Whereas with David McCormick, you know what? A team starts double teaming him because he's going off like so many have tried to do. And then he passes. He throws it out to the perimeter. He's become a very good, passer for KU. So I think all 3 lineups are important. I think all 3 have a place on the court, even Mitch Lightfoot. I think there are times where McCormick gets into foul trouble and you need a big man in the game. But at the same time, other than 4 guards around David McCormick, I'm not sure Kansas has one that should be 100% guaranteed, 20, 25 minutes a game, foul trouble notwithstanding. Just because that's the best of the 3. And then the other 2 have had their times where they're really, really good and had their times where, quite frankly, they're really, really bad.
I want to look way too far down the road in a second, but I personally was a little bit surprised that they actually did not only find a team, but then pull the trigger on this UTEP game coming up on Thursday. Were you surprised at all that that did happen, or does that feel like a Bill Self thing to you?
So, funny enough, before anyone had brought it up, it was after a game, and I was thinking about asking Bill Self about it, but then I kind of like double clutched, and I was like, maybe this is like a midweek press conference kind of topic. He's probably going to say no. He's probably not interested. This is like the dumb stuff journalists come up with that like teams would never actually do. But then I brought it up. I was actually on a good buddy of yours of mine, Nick's show, and I brought it up there, and I thought, maybe. And Nick joked they should schedule Missouri, and I said I did not think there was a chance in the world that would happen for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
But especially with 2,500, but. It started to make more and more sense then, and the reason being that you're going to have this 11-day layoff if you get all your games in. And, I don't like using the word punish like this, but that essentially like punishes you for taking care of business. It's like, congratulations, you got all your games in, you got everything in on time. Now you get 2 weeks, don't get rusty. Like, figure it out.
Yeah.
And, if you want to give a team like Baylor credit for the rust it gets for 3 weeks with going through what it was going through, you certainly would never volunteer to put yourself in that position. So I think for KU to find an opponent, first of all, they had to agree to Big 12 testing policy, which is 3 tests where everyone is negative on non-consecutive days in the week leading up to the game. So that's a pretty good way to do it. At least it's played out that way for Kansas this year. And it made sense that, my prediction when we were talking about the game they would pick was that they wouldn't pick a great team, but they also wouldn't pick a terrible team because they wouldn't want it to mess with their metrics. And they also would want to keep, the players kind of in that zone playing against decent competition. And I thought a TCU level of team, just like metrics-wise would be the kind of place they would go. And I can't remember it exactly. I think UTEP's a little bit worse, maybe closer to Iowa State. But, that's essentially what you're getting is the tune-up game, keep you locked in. You get 5 or 6 days off beforehand. You get 4-ish days off afterward or whatever it is. I might have that backward, but you get a little bit of a break on both sides. Bill Self said they could take a couple days off still if they needed to, both before and after. And then you actually get a game. You get to stay in the flow of that. So it makes sense. It's a little scary because you can always test positive, and then boom, your postseason is just done. And that's obviously a worst-case scenario. But, I think Bill Self probably looked at it and said, how safe can Kansas make it, and what is the benefit? And I think there is a benefit to kind of staying in that groove and staying in basketball rhythm.
I think you kind of already answered the bulk of this, but I wanted to find out specifically. Like, do you think that they're going to treat this? I was going to say like an exhibition game. It doesn't seem like it would make sense for them to have even done this if that was going to be the mindset. But, I mean, does this then just get treated like a normal, like reasonably legitimate non-con game where you start pulling your guys as soon as you have that large lead in the second half? Or is there a chance that like Mitch Lightfoot gets significant minutes even whenever the game's still close or something like that to try to experiment with anything? Or is this just, hey, let's run out our future tournament starting lineup and all of that and just try to stay in form?
Yeah, I think this is probably a very similar scenario to like the last 2 decades when Kansas has clinched the Big 12. There's nothing to play for. And then they play a team that's just kind of middle of the Big 12. And it's like, you're probably going to win by how much? Now, I'm sure they would love to be up 25 in the second half and pull everyone. But my guess is this will be closer to, a 10, 15-point game. I think UTEP's actually a little bit better, certainly than its record if you look at some of the metrics and some of the individual games they've played. But, it's UTEP. It's not, they're not playing a top 25 team. They're not playing a team that should realistically test or even, beat them. So I think they'll probably just take it seriously from the perspective of, treat it like a real game. Don't try anything crazy. But I do think from the perspective of, I'm sure they're working on stuff that they want to be able to throw at, teams. And they're not going to show all of it because you save stuff for the tournament. But I'm sure they'll work in a new wrinkle or try a new play or try something and just see, hey, what does this look like against live competition, against someone who scouted you? And I think it'll be interesting from that perspective because, it's calling it a tune-up game feels kind of offensive to like UTEP, especially because, like I said, UTEP is not a terrible team. UTEP is fairly decent, but That's what it is. I mean, Kansas has higher aspirations than going out in the Sweet 16 this year. You know, Bill Self spoke about the storybook season is over, and this was a long time ago he said this, but the storybook ending is still possible. And a storybook ending is not you win 2 games or even 3 in the NCAA tournament. A storybook ending is you find a way to go on a run and get to a Final Four. Now, if Kansas had beat Texas, which they probably should have, they had a lot of chances at the end of that game, and in overtime they were leading when McCormick fouled out, with like a minute or whatever left. Then Kansas is really going to Kansas City in a week thinking, hey, a 2 seed is not off the table. And even now it isn't, but, you probably have to have everything break perfect. I think most people have Kansas as a 3 seed right about now. So, for Kansas, you go into the tournament as a 3 seed. It's not about necessarily, how can you improve your seed line compared to how can you be playing your best basketball and how can you be as sound and good a team that's able to go on a run, basically compared to everyone else. And I think that's the purpose here. I think what they're taking seriously is if you don't do something in the tournament, or I suppose the Big 12 tournament, what have you done this season other than play a bunch of games and win a good percentage of them? And I know Bill Self has said this year it's less important, or it's kind of more important just to get through the season, which is fair because, sports in the coronavirus era, it's all different. But I think they would like something to show for their season, and in order to do that, they have to have a good March.
I was going to ask you about kind of expectations and even looking at the seed line way too far in advance and all of that, and you pretty much did that. So I'll leave you with this observation. You can't spell tune-up without UTEP. So I don't think it's offensive to UTEP. That's basically literally their name.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of their brand. That's kind of like, I don't know how this comparison makes sense, so you'll have to think about it. Okay. But like when Austin Peay, the college, was leaning into the joke and putting up signs that said, "Let's go P, P-E-A-Y."
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're leaning into their brand. So I guess that school's brand is bathroom jokes, and UTEP's brand is helping other teams get better at basketball.
And I'll tell you what, how I don't know if you saw this, but like when the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl, I don't know if you saw that is the thing that happened. You mentioned it earlier, so I think I don't know if you watched or not. But then
what is the Super Bowl?
Well, so it's even crazier. The Patriots quarterback, Tom Brady?
Never heard of him.
He's the Tampa Bay quarterback. It's a long story. But the
guy who likes the avocado ice cream.
Yeah, that guy. The dude that
the
random
guy?
the middle-aged man who got hammered on a boat a couple of weeks ago.
Taysom Hill was there.
No, he's in the other one. But after the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl, Tom Brady tweeted out like the video. It's got like, sports talk. People go, Tom Brady's washed, blah, 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 all of those things. Mm-hmm. If UTEP beats KU, Scott, we're making their video after the fact. Me going, in fact, I'll give him a clean cut right here. You can't spell tune-up without UTEP. That's going to make it. That is going to ring through. I might be a part of like their hype video now in years to come, because that will play at the beginning, and then it's going to be their announcer going, and UTEP pulls the upset. You can't spell upset without UTEP. Hello. I gave them both of them.
Who's Patrick Mahomes supporting? KU's the local team.
Great.
But Jamal Bieniemy is Eric Bieniemy's nephew, and he plays for UTEP.
I forgot about that. You mentioned that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That connection's
They
important.
have another kid who's scoring a bunch of points this year. I forget his name, but he's actually pretty decent. A smaller guard.
Is it Jamal Bieniemy, by chance? That's the only UTEP player I know.
It's a different player.
You can't spell put without UTEP. I'm out. I got tune-up and upset. Those are the only two that I had. Scott, thank you for your TV recommendations, your basketball analysis, and for laughing at my god-awful puns. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, hey, also, you can, Scott, are you still there? Scott, you can do this. Tell people about the deal on 247sports.com right now, and specifically go to fog.net, and what they can get for signing up right now, which I re-upped on today.
Well, thank you, Josh.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, if you're interested in KU content, fog.net, we're currently having a special on VIP access, which is get you access to basically the entire network, the whole country, colleges, recruiting, team analysis, football, and basketball. It's 50% off, and if you sign up, I guess by the end of the day tomorrow, which would be Wednesday, you get CBS All Access, which is about to be Paramount Plus, for free included for the lifetime of the subscription. So it's a pretty good deal. I'd check it out.
So this is
For the
why.
lifetime?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yes. So you go sign up for that right now. It's a great deal. Here's the thing.
The deal might be too good.
Two things. One is if you think you're going to sign up for Paramount Plus, go listen. I'm just going to let you in on a little secret here. Go do it at fog.net, and it helps support Scott and fog.net. This is an easy one, everybody. And it's cheaper. It's a great deal.
Yeah.
It's cheaper for you. It's good for Scott. So we want to do that, everybody. All right, go do that. And also, I think your next TV and basketball breakdown, you got to start watching things on Paramount Plus, and then you have that connection point right there. Netflix, not anymore. It's all Paramount Plus and 24/7 Sports.
You know what the best thing on Paramount Plus is currently? CBS All Access.
I don't know. No, what is it?
It's not a joke. It's just Frasier. Fantastic show.
All right, thank you for real now, Scott. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Scott Chasen, fog.net, 24/7 Sports, kansas.247sports.com. Seriously, I was a subscriber to 24/7 Sports, and my subscription came up, and I didn't have it renewed or whatever, and I saw this up there today. I'm like, you know what? We'll get myself some CBS All Access, Paramount Plus, and all that great work at 24/7 Sports.
Paramount Plus for the lifetime. That
is clutch. Right now, so it is.
I might have to do this.
So to get a year.
I'm going to do this.
To get a year of the fog.net VIP access is usually a $100 annual value. So you can sign up, get the whole deal for $50 for the year, and that's a year of Paramount Plus. I'm going to pay that for Peacock, and it doesn't even have great analysis about local college basketball teams.
And for some of the people listening, if you're wondering why do I need Paramount Plus, at the very least, you can watch Frasier. But then also when football season comes around, it's the CBS football games. So that's the Chiefs. A decent amount.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah.
I don't even know that.
Yeah, so CBS All Access is disappearing, right? Obviously, it's turning into Paramount Plus.
Were those on CBS All Access all year?
So that's where you would watch. So CBS All Access, part of it, obviously there is a backlog, right? So it's like with Peacock, but you also get to watch CBS, the live channel. Like with Peacock, you can also watch, NBC, the live channel. So obviously during football season when football games are on, because that's how I used to, I watched the Chiefs, or this last year I didn't because I was here all the time. Prior to that, I would have CBS All Access because I only worked home games, road games. I was home, so that's how I watched the Chiefs games. When they were on the road.
Plus SpongeBob.
Who doesn't want SpongeBob?
Who doesn't want SpongeBob?
Who doesn't want SpongeBob?
Beard, you want SpongeBob?
Not really.
I know you're an anti. I asked you, and I knew what the answer was going to be.
How is anybody anti SpongeBob?
It's a great question.
I don't know how. Scott is anti Airbud, so that also is surprising. I don't know, man. Guess everybody's got that thing.
If you go to fog.net right now, you can sign up through the KU side of all of that and help support Scott, who is giving us.
Didn't think I had to spend money tomorrow, but here we go. $50, I'll gladly do it.
That's the thing, $50 for SpongeBob. If I just saw SpongeBob walking down the street, if I saw SpongeBob and Scott walking down the street, I would give each of them $25. I might give them both $50.
I'd just give them $50 and be like, hey, split it as you see fit.
I think it's a 30-20 split in favor of SpongeBob.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think Scott would admit to that. Is he still on the line? Sure isn't. He didn't need to be here for any of this. Don't blame him.
Human Torch says, I was too old and didn't smoke weed, so I'm out on SpongeBob.
I was exactly the right age, and 13 was
I don't know.
That's when I smoked the most weed.
Human Torch, I don't know how old you are. I'm 30, and I was all in on SpongeBob, and still am.
SpongeBob hits a special. Beards, what age did you start smoking weed? Early teens?
No comment.
My 13th birthday party was pirate theme. My 14th birthday party theme? The Devil's Lettuce. And SpongeBob. Paramount Plus.
The old Krabby Patty. The Devil's Lettuce.
Huh. Do you think that's where this segment was going to end up? Nope. I sure didn't. Thanks, Scott. Oh, you know what else? His bark's worse than his bite. Another dog pun.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Championship Barbecue is now available at your fingertips with the new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue online ordering app. Place your order for the legendary Z-Man or Rocket Pig sandwiches, slabs of ribs, or a burn-end dinner right now. It's just a few clicks from your smartphone, and your order will be hot and ready for curbside pickup. The new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app is perfect for a weeknight dinner with the family or feeding your entire office. So don't wait. Download the brand new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app today.
Rick Edelman, #1 New York Times bestselling author and founder of Edelman Financial Engines, takes questions on his hit radio show. Let's listen to Rick help a caller who's saving for retirement.
Hey, Rick, how can I keep my retirement money safe?
By taking some risk. That sounds weird, I know, but when it comes to saving for retirement, if you try to keep your money safe, you're actually taking big risks. Savings accounts, well, they're not safe from inflation. They're not safe from taxes. There are, in fact, 18 different asset classes, and they all have different risks. So spread your money around, so no one thing can wipe you out. It's like having 12 eggs in 12 baskets. Diversification helps you manage your risk while still giving you the opportunities provided by the financial markets.
That was award-winning radio host Rick Edelman. Get help diversifying your portfolio from one of our financial planners by calling 888-PLAN-RICK or visit rickedelman.com.
When you're thinking about New Orleans, why not let jazz cook for you?
Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. That's what we do at Jazz. Papa Vic here to tell you about what's happening at your favorite restaurant, Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen. COVID still got you down? No worries. We're open. Come in and let Jazz cook for you. We've partnered with Proactive Protect to provide nanotechnology protection that sanitizes all our tables, chairs, and the interior of the restaurant. So come on in. Everybody is safe. Tired of your mama's cooking? Check out our website, jazzkitchens.com, and place your order online or through Menufy. Not comfortable coming in? Check out our dedicated curbside parking spots, and we'll bring the taste of New Orleans to your car. 3 locations, the original at 39th and State Line, and at Legends of Village West, our newest location in Independence at I-70 and 291, just east of the Cable Dahmer Arena. Jazz, with a Dixieland band and a sultry day and everybody.
Yes, if you're dreaming about New Orleans, that jazz do your cooking up for you.
Jazz, where there's always a party every night.
Every Wednesday at 6, it's Crunch Time Prime Time on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Me and my buddy Frank Bowe will bring you all the latest Chiefs news all season long. You guys know I'm a big believer in CBD. We will tell you a little bit about the latest products and benefits of CBD. And if you want to try any of their great products, you could stop into any of the American Shaman stores for a free sample.
Crunch Time, Wednesdays at 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Another season of frigid temperatures is finally behind us. But with the good comes some bad, because another winter in the books means another year of wear and tear on your roof. Greg Gurley here. Wouldn't it be nice to sleep well knowing you can trust the roof over your head? You can with the company I trust, Buck Roofing. Buck Roofing has fixed the roof over my mom's head and thousands of KC homeowners and commercial buildings. Jayhawks, Wildcats, and Tigers all agree that Buck Roofing is simply the best in Kansas City. Ron and his team are experts in residential, commercial roofing, and they can do your gutters too. Don't just take my word for it. Check their rating with Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. Buck Roofing will do only the work that needs to be done, and you can trust that you are getting a fair bid. Put this number in your phone now, 913-384-2680. That's 913-384-2680, or online at ourbuckroofing.com. And sleep well knowing Buck Roofing fixed the roof over your head.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Listen, are you sure you don't want me to wait till next week?
No.
Just get me the first show of March?
No.
You sure we're okay? I'm here.
Got to have you on to talk weed.
I don't know why that's my brand. I don't know why that's my brand.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I completely forgot that liner ever existed, and I continue to not be. Well, now I understand why that's my brand. It's because at this point the only option was to lead into it, and also my many crimes of Grindelwald streaming now on Freeform. It was on TV. This is something that came up, I guess, on Sunday. Did we talk about this last night? All of my days and all of my radio mic openings are just all the same thing. I think Blake and I talked about this on Sports Sunday at something.
By the way, real fast, I don't know if you know this, Blake went to Austin Peay.
Oh, no, I don't. He mentions...
He puts the P in P.
He mentions that he played college football
at Austin Peay.
I don't think he ever clarifies that. I think he just says D1 college
Division
college
I AA.
football. Is that true?
Yeah.
Maybe he says that.
Austin Peay is Division I.
I saw him here earlier, so if he's
AA.
within earshot right now, I know he might be able to hear me.
Yeah.
That man loves to mention that he played college football.
Yeah, I mean, hey, playing Division I AA football, like, it's a billion divisions higher than I ever played.
Well, it's not a billion divisions high.
Like
it's either
4.
infinite or it's like...
It's like 4.
You know what? So I played... Hold on. I played flag football at Mid-American Nazarene one semester.
I played flag football at Wichita State, which was a Division I AAA school. Division I AAA means you don't have football.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, you might, but here's the thing: you might be able to just say you played football at Wichita State.
There was a club team.
That's technically
that
true.
I at one time thought maybe I'll try out for.
Oh, so you did not play on the club team. So you're level below that.
I was too lazy.
Yeah, no one ever says this. Playing football is hard.
Yeah.
I don't know why we don't ever mention that, but it's a difficult thing.
It is. I don't like getting hit.
No,
I'm not actively trying to get hit.
No, getting hit sucks. No one ever just walks around like, "Hi, hello, sir. Would you please hit me?" It's been a while since I've gotten hit.
I don't play for the love of the game. I play for the cash. I'll admit it.
And there just wasn't as much money
Not for
in
me.
the Wichita State intramural football team as there could have been.
Austin Peay lost to Pittsburgh 55-0 in 2020.
Not a good.
Nope.
Not a good final score for the.
So what does this have to do with the crimes of Grindelwald?
So on Sunday it came up that that was on TV. I don't remember why Blake brought it up.
What this is that you're speaking of, though. I don't know the show.
The Crimes of Grindelwald?
Nope.
It's all of Grindelwald's crimes and his fantastic beasts. Not only is it a completely forgettable movie, it's also an incredibly good My Brother and Me bit.
Gotcha. This is the Fantastic Beasts movie.
Correct.
I haven't actually
the
seen
second
it.
one.
I saw the first one. I don't care to see the second one.
I haven't seen that.
The first one has the Red Man and
which one has
his Fantastic Beasts.
Which one has Mads in it?
That's the next one, I think.
Yes.
I think
Mads
he's.
is the
I
next
think
one.
he's
Mads
playing.
is replacing
I think he's new Johnny Depp.
Yes.
He's new.
He's new Johnny Depp.
He's new. E-Bombs World, which is the name of the character. The Crimes of E-Bombs World. You guys remember E-Bombs World?
What are you doing?
No idea. Did you have a seizure?
Have you had weed?
Are you okay?
Never. Stop asking. Are you
Does
a
the
cop?
left side of your face feel numb?
You guys not remember E-Bombs World?
No.
It was like a
Is this
very
like an
early
emo
internet. It was very early internet like video hosting. Really? I don't even. I'm just like aware of it at least.
Yeah, no.
Not ringing a bell, or no, it doesn't exist, and I'm high.
No,
Oh,
it exists. It was created by Eric Bauman.
Oh wow, I never even thought about
E-Bomb.
that being a name shortening thing. It was like a very early video hosting site, right?
Yeah. Site was founded in 2001 and features comedy contents like memes, viral videos, images, and other forms of internet culture. It was it Vine before Vine?
No, it was more YouTube before YouTube.
It was YouTube before YouTube. Yeah.
But no, Mads Mikkelsen is playing Grindelwald. I think from this
good actor.
point
Is Mads
forward.
Mikkelsen's playing Eric Bauman?
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
I
love Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, Beards, you're absolutely right there.
Yeah,
Big Mads fan. His performance in Death Stranding, which I still haven't finished.
Still?
Really
because it's impossible to finish.
Rudy's Mads about him.
The one thing I can give credit to that game is like normally if I've been away from something for that long, like I just do not remember anymore. I still legitimately remember every second of that game that I played, which does it's credit to it. It's impressive. E-Bombs World has a Twitch channel. Okay, click on that.
So Saturday when I was trying to watch KU Baylor, I was looking for the game because it was starting on ESPN News, but I have YouTube TV. So it's not just click one channel up or down or whatever. I had to go try to find it. And what I found instead was that The Crimes of Grindelwald was playing on probably Freeform, and that ended up coming up in conversation with Blake on Sunday.
So E-Bombs World, he does have a Twitch channel. He's verified, and his most recent games that he was playing was Backyard Football 2006.
No kidding!
Yeah.
Wow!
Some BFO Week 3 highlights, or its featured clips.
I said E-Bombs World because it sounds sort of like Grindelwald.
Also Backyard Baseball.
Do I have to explain that again? Did that make sense to everybody? Did somebody get the joke?
He was all in on the Backyard. Well, I haven't seen the movie.
But it was just a play on words. Again, I would say don't watch the movie.
Also,
do go find the My Brother and Me bit about it, which was very good.
Better
Better
on
than the
NCAA
movie.
basketball 10 as well.
I don't
And
think I ever
Minecraft.
saw the movie, but I have no doubt that it was not very good.
And NHL 15. Guy likes the sports games. And Minecraft.
Does it ever feel like we're doing 4 separate shows? Which is crazy because there's only 3 of us. But it feels like sometimes it feels like we're each doing our own show, and then that some of its parts ends up being a 4th show that none of us really want to do.
This guy looks exactly like I would think an Eric Bauman looks like.
Beers, can I get a Celtics Clippers update?
Boston's up 9.
Kawhi's not playing.
In the first quarter or
4th quarter? 5 minutes left.
There we go. I just wanted some more information. We're doing a radio show. Grindelwald.
Yay, Celtics.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the 4th show. Because Rudy just referenced something from 2 hours ago that even I forgot was a bit. That's good. Gerard Dyson's back, baby. Run it back. Got some speed due. Subscribe to Paramount Plus,
Tell me
but
the story
only through fog.net. That was the show we were doing during the break, Rudy. We were talking about Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons during the break.
Which, yeah, you blew my mind there. I didn't know that Harvest Moon was actually no longer Harvest Moon, but that Story of Seasons is actually now the Harvest Moon, and Stardew Valley is Animal Crossing?
No, last one's not true. Everything you said was true until the Stardew Valley Animal Crossing thing. Animal Crossing is Nintendo. Stardew Valley is an independent developer, and one of Grindelwald's many crimes was stealing the Harvest Moon title away from the Story of Seasons, folks. It's not that hard to keep up with. Please try to hang on, Rudy.
Got it.
You can't spell. Hold on. Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons, Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley without UTEP. Nailed it.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Hey everyone, Les Norman here, host of the Break in the Norm Show. Since '95, I've made KC my home, and since then, I've seen a World Series champion in 15, a Super Bowl champion in 20, and the greatest fans supporting both. It's the people that make me proud to call KC home. You're passionate about your teams and each other. During this crazy time, keep caring for and loving each other. And thank you for making KC not only the greatest sports city, but also the most caring and helpful place to watch sports. Stay healthy, be safe, don't panic, and keep loving each other well.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping, with a laser focus on celebrating your special moments. Every associate, every receptionist, every jewelry craftsman, every single person at Diamonds Direct shares this DNA, this overwhelming desire to exceed your expectations, to honor your trust, to revel in your moment, to make your experience truly magical. This is not a mission statement written on our wall. This is the essence of who we are. It's what drives us every day. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. For real. At 119th and Row.
Hi, this is Justin Cole, Private Wealth Manager at Creative Planning. Over the last few years, we have grown to one of the largest nationally recognized wealth management firms in the country. While we are proud of our success, we are most proud of our Kansas City roots. We were founded in Kansas City and remain headquartered here because there's no place we'd rather be. We are Kansas City strong. Thank you, Kansas City, and thank you to our clients. If you're not a client, we invite you to reach out for a free, no-obligation financial review. You can find us at creativeplanning.com or by calling 913-338-2727.
The Open Season Sportsman's Expo Series is headed to the Overland Park Convention Center Friday, March 12th through Sunday, March 14th. The Kansas City Open Season Sportsman's Expo will be filled with the latest products, gear, and equipment for hunting, fishing, and outdoor enthusiasts. Attendees can meet industry insiders and celebrities, attend educational seminars and demonstrations, test out the newest products, shop for special show deals, and bring their deer to have it scored in the Trophy Deer Contest. For information and tickets, visit OpenSeasonExpos.com.
Guys, have some free time?
PRA Health Sciences is seeking healthy, non-smoking men ages 18 to 45 to participate in a study of an investigational medication. Volunteers must be available for 4 stays of 3 nights each and 1 follow-up visit. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $6,000 for time and travel. Call PRA today at 913-210-5900 or visit us on the web at prastudies.com/Lenexa.
Spring is coming, so plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Exterminators. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine is a family-owned local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. In fact, check out their amazing reviews from all their KC area customers. They're also a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. Call today at 913-359-8627. 913-359-8627.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
You either listen to the show because you really like the Chiefs or because you really hate sports radio. And I am super cool with either of those reasons.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, during the break, Rudy tried reading me a tweet from Brian Windhorst, and it confused me 4 separate times. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Brian Windhorst tweeted today that sources tell him that a star in the league might request a trade to the Knicks in the next 12 months.
Maybe. A star, not anyone in particular, might request a trade to the Knicks within the next 12 months.
Correct.
Someone on this show might trip and fall down the stairs and then land in a pile of cash within the next 25 years.
Hopefully it's me.
At the very least, I'll help you trip down the stairs. If there's
we
cash
can make
down
that
there,
happen real fast.
Yeah, that's up to you.
But make that happen tonight.
I can at least help you get the first half of that done. Seth
If you
Keysor.
just keep tripping down the stairs, maybe there'll be cash.
Maybe there'll be cash. Seth Kaiser's got cash next.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey sports fans, Joni here, and I'm excited to tell you about the newly opened In the Zone Cryo. In the Zone Cryo will help decrease pain and inflammation, accelerate muscle recovery, increase your energy, and boost your immune system. In the Zone Cryo also offers Instasculpt fat reduction, personal training, infrared heat, compression therapy, and more. Mention Sports Radio 810 and receive 10% off your first service. Come see us at College and Metcalf. Call 913-208-4859 or visit inthezonecryo.com. Feel, look, and perform your best with In the Zone Cryo.
Hey, this is Stephen St. John, and I've been listening to how great Nate feels after going to Stretch Zone, so I had to try it out myself, and I feel fantastic. And my wife, Susan, she's had 2 years of daily back pain, which is already feeling better after a few sessions. Stretch Zone will help you relieve stiffness and soreness, increase and maintain range of motions, and enhance physical skills. Stretch Zone is located in Lenexa and Overland Park. For more information, check out StretchZone.com. The NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship is just around the corner on March 18th through the 23rd downtown at Municipal Auditorium. 15 games over the course of 5 days as we crown the 83rd NAIA Men's Basketball National Champion. Catch all the excitement as single-day tickets start at just $20. For ticket and championship information, go to NAIAHoops.com today. The NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship, a Kansas City tradition.
Hey, it's Lebo here for CertaPro Painters. You know, now is a great time to update your home. Whether it's a new look inside or some exterior protection for this harsh KC climate, there's no better place to go than CertaPro. You can give them a call at 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com to schedule your free estimate. Now, they have knocked it out of the park every time I've used them. Inside my home or outside where my paint job still looks great. Their attention to detail is outstanding from the estimate through the prep work, the job itself, and especially on cleanup. Worry-free all the way. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so they're local business owners right here in our community. They do it all. Premier quality products with competitive pricing, plus a great warranty. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call right now at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GO-CERTA. Experience the CertaPro Painters difference for yourself. They don't consider the job finished until you're completely satisfied. It's CertaPro Painters, proven and trusted experts in painting.
The Kansas City Mavericks are back on the ice, and fans are welcome. A limited number of socially distant tickets are available for every home game. You can also stream every game from the comfort of your own home. Visit KCMavericks.com to get your hockey fix in Mavs country at the Cable Dahmer Arena. KC Mavericks Hockey is a family-friendly destination with affordable ticket prices and free parking. Come out and cheer on the Mavs. Get your tickets today at KCMavericks.com. Go Mavs!
WHB Kansas City
is Sports Center. I'm Jim Basquil. Battles of 4 teams in the top 6 in a pair of matchups on this night. From the Big Ten, Illinois without their best player ran Michigan off their own floor, taking down the nation's second-ranked team 76-53. Trent Frazier led the way with 22. They won despite not having Ayo Dosunmu. The 23-point win, by the way, was the largest on the road versus an AP top 5 team in school history. 3 versus 6 from the Big 12, where Baylor outlasted West Virginia 94-89 in overtime. It's their first regular season Big 12 championship since 1950. Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell combined for 45 points. Mountaineers coach Bob Huggins.
That's a really, really good basketball team, obviously, and I think we're a good basketball team. We didn't do what we had to do. We're a very young basketball team. You're talking about a bunch of guys that are 4th-year juniors and 5th-year seniors, and Scott's done a great job of putting those guys together.
To the NBA, where Nate McMillan's first game as Atlanta interim head coach is a winner. They snapped the Heat's 6-game winning streak in South Florida and get defensive 94-85 in double figures, led by Trae Young's 18. Kawhi Leonard, a late scratch for the Clippers in Boston with back spasms. Late stages there, under a minute and a half to go, where Boston leads at 113-109. Kemba Walker has 24. Sidney Crosby out for COVID-19 protocol, and in the first game without him, the Penguins still beat the Flyers 5-2.
Hey, it's Greeny, and Wednesday, Legendary Voices Week continues with Bob Costas. We'll go all across the world of sports with him, and we'll try and get to the bottom of how Wilt Chamberlain is not on basketball's Mount Rushmore. See you then. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
Now it's time for very serious football talk with the man who met his wife on a blind date, chaperoned by his parents.
They actually came along on the first date with us. There was a... No! I rode in the back seat. I was 22.
The man who needs to take a minute to remember the names of all of his children.
Do all of your kids have the same first letter?
No, actually. Let me think. Do any of them? Tucker, Mason, Cole, Isabel, and Lucas.
The man who can defend you in court, but will probably choose not to.
I'll cop to this on a public setting right now. I am an aggressive cuddler in a consensual sense.
Comma, officer.
Good grief, he's a pastor too? When does this guy sleep?
You will find Seth Keysor everywhere except for in his or your bed, because not only does he not sleep, he's also a faithful husband. So that's important.
It's Seth Keysor of The Athletic on Almost Entirely Sports.
It's the return of Seth Keysor on a Tuesday. Didn't get to talk to you last week, Seth. The good news is the main stuff wasn't fully happening until this last week. There's a ton of major news from the Chiefs' offensive line that we thought was going to take like months to get a better picture of. So I'm very excited to talk to you about all those things. You wrote about some of it immediately after it happened with Mitchell Schwartz. Now, obviously, some news on the Eric Fisher front. And, of course, you can check out all of Seth's work, both in the Chief in the North newsletter at mnchiefsfan.substack.com and in The Athletic and in the Times Ours podcast, which I don't know if it's out yet, but we recorded it today, so it probably is. I haven't listened to it because I've been here. I don't actually listen back to our episodes. Do you listen back to our episodes, Seth? There's a new Times Ours out now.
I have listened back to a few. There are a couple. There was one where I don't remember what happened, but it was one of the funniest things that it was one of the episodes where I really lost my breath. I was laughing so hard when we did the episode. So I went back and listened to it because I really enjoyed it. I genuinely don't remember what it was. And then the other one I went back and listened to is the one where you and I started bickering during the middle of the episode.
Yes.
And because I was curious how bad it sounded, and that's when I discovered the magic of editing and how Danielle took what was, and I don't want to exaggerate, it was probably like a 5-second pause.
Yeah.
But when you turn a 5 or 6 second pause into a 1 or 2 second pause, it makes a tremendous difference because there really was that pause where it had become clear that I was actually angry.
Yes.
And it just got super awkward for everyone. And because she shortened that pause, it actually still sounded like playful banter. So those are the only 2 times that I can remember that I've listened back.
Danielle will absolutely step in front of a train and maybe not take the train because that's not going to help, but then use her Superman powers to just push it over. I don't know who has telekinesis. She has telekinetic powers that just change the audio before it gets into anyone else's ears. The other
It's
thing,
an incredible amount of power.
The other thing that I didn't know until before we did this segment that you hid during the course of Times Ours is that today is your birthday. So happy birthday, Seth. Here's a song for you. I'm not gonna sing the happy birthday song. There's absolutely no
thank
chance.
you.
No, neither one of us want that.
No one who's listening or will listen, or won't even listen, but will just hear about it wants that. But thank you very much. It's the big 3-6. I have doubled up on being 18 years old. I have now more time has passed since I turned 18 than before 18, and that's a weird way of looking at it.
Your willingness to say your age just now did unfortunately both save you from and derail what was gonna be a really sweet joke. I was so ready to say, listen, and Seth, I just feel like as good a time as any to thank you again for all the time over these last several years you've spent being a part of this show and how much I've enjoyed doing Times Ours, how much I value both your work as an analyst and your time as a friend. And I know the big 5-0 that's a big marker in the middle of your life.
There it is.
And you took it from me, though. You took it from me because you just said 36. Damn it.
Yep, this isn't my first rodeo with you. And let's be honest, when you really, anyone who's listening to this right now who is younger than maybe 25, and even a few years older than that, honestly, here's 36 and is like, dang, that's old. Let me just tell you that you do not feel 36 when you're 36.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel heavier. Let's make no mistake there. I feel like there's more of me. But that's just more an acknowledgement of reality. But in terms of, so about 5 years ago, I asked my dad when I had turned 30 or 31. I asked my dad, who's obviously 25 years older than me, I said, man, I keep waiting to feel like an adult.
Yeah.
Because when you're in it, it's the Family Guy joke, I need an adult. It's like when are you going to be that person where something goes down at the grocery store or something weird happens and people look at you and it's like, there's an adult. They'll know what to do. And my assumption was always they really did know what to do. And so I was like, when am I going to feel like I know what I'm doing? Yeah. So I asked my dad that. And at the time, he goes, well, I'm 60, so maybe at 61 or at some point after that. So it's just fascinating because I walk around feeling like I'm in my early 20s, and then I pass a reflective surface or walk by a group of people who are in their 20s.
Yeah.
And their complete lack of interest in talking to me.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, right, I'm old. So it's an interesting thing. I'll also say this, though, to all you young people, the 30s rule.
Okay, that's good to know.
Oh, they're so much fun. It's so great. If you're in your mid-30s, Jazz and I were able to purchase clothes for our kids this year. You occasionally don't have to save up to be poor anymore.
Wow.
And so that's kind of cool in your 30s.
That seems good.
Not all the time, because every now and then we still end up broke. So I'm not sure how that happened. But anyway.
You should get another job of some sort.
Yeah, I think I should. I think that's my problem is I'm not filling my time enough.
Yeah.
But no, 30s rule. They easily the best decade so far. So here's hoping, the next 36 are as good.
And then honestly, by 40s or 50s, or I guess I'm thinking about how old my parents are old, man. You ever think about how old our parents are? Eventually, you get that. Eventually, you get that decade where you just move to Florida and don't have to worry about the cold hurting the inside of your lungs anymore. And I imagine that's probably also a pretty good decade. So life is good except for the parts that aren't.
Oh, absolutely. That seems like the ideal. My wife is trying to currently speed that up, like the Florida part.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep telling her, it's hard. You got about 25 years of steps that I think we're skipping here.
Right.
She was not persuaded by my logic. So I'm pretty sure my wife might be moving in with your parents at some point.
That's probably it'll be a little bit of a tight squeeze, but I'm sure she'll have a great time. Maybe she and my sister can share a room, at least for a little while, and Chloe's can share, so that'll work out just fine. While we're talking about just old, ancient, old people, do you want to talk about the return of 31-year-old Mitchell Schwartz, that ancient man?
Yes, that's huge. So I that was big enough news where I stopped what I was doing just to write about him. Plus, any chance I get to make video clips of Mitch Morse. See, man, it's every time. Man, I miss Mitch Morse.
Oh,
but
you just called. Oh no, sorry, honey. Who? That's what. Oh no.
Oh yeah. No, I know. But anytime I can make video clips of Mitch Schwartz pass blocking, I do it because he's so great at it, and it's so much fun to watch and break down how he does it because he doesn't. There are some guys like when you watch like Tyron Smith at his peak, or if you watch like Trent Williams last year, they are noticeably much stronger than the guys they're blocking, right? Think like what you would see from Willie Roaf.
Yeah.
For Chiefs fans, he would put his hands on people, and it was like he stunned them. They couldn't go anywhere. It didn't matter. One arm, two arm, it just didn't matter. Schwartz doesn't have that advantage. I mean, he's strong, certainly. He's an NFL offensive lineman. But he doesn't just dominate like that. He's just so skilled technically. And so I love making video clips of that to just show him like where he does a little feint of a punch to get defenders to lunge and then just rides them around the pocket because they're stumbling. It's hilarious every time.
I'm watching the clip you're referring to there right now. Again, people can check. This is a piece that came out right away in the Chief North newsletter. I'm guessing because it's the Texans and the giant arm sleeve. It's Arizona Cardinals legend J.J. Watt here, and you're right. It's a little kind of fake punch, and Schwartz just kind of, I think you used this phrase already, but he just kind of rides it out like it's deadly efficient and not that it doesn't really pop off the screen.
It doesn't look dominant. It looks like, oh man, he just barely hit that block. And you and I have talked about this before. Mitch Schwartz has made a living out of looking like he's barely doing it right.
Yeah.
But it just is snap after snap. And it looks exactly the same whether he's facing Johnny No Name or Von Miller.
Yeah.
And normally that would be an insult to a player like where it looks just as bad when you're facing Johnny No Name. But instead with him, he looks just as good facing Von Miller as he does versus Johnny No Name. And it's hilarious. And so the big thing for me, and again, it's on the Chief of the North newsletter. Check it out. That one might be unlocked. Because why would I ask people to pay for my content when I can just give it to them?
I think this one might be unlocked. Yeah, it's really, really frustrating.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So the big thing I wanted to emphasize was the difference in the 2019 Super Bowl versus the 2020 Super Bowl. Now, obviously, there's more going on, right? Fisher was hurt, and the offensive line was just incredibly depleted across the board. But what I wanted to emphasize was a couple of different snaps where had the right tackle spot held up, and this is the 2020 Super Bowl now, you would see a difference. And so I tried to show a couple snaps from the 2019 Super Bowl, and what I'm trying to show people is now imagine, and this is where it gets tough for people, but now imagine the right tackle block didn't hold up here. Because there's an effect that has on the quarterback where he now has to start to drift left. And in the cases of the snaps that I showed, because they were ones where Nick Bosa just inhaled Eric Fisher, there would have been a sack. or it would have been a hit, or would have, he would have had to sprint around like he did constantly against Tampa Bay. And that's what can happen, and that's how important Mitch Schwartz is. By dominating his right side, he gave the Chiefs at least an opportunity in the Super Bowl in 2019 to where it didn't look like what we saw in 2020, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Plus, the receivers caught the ball.
Caught the passes, right.
When yeah, that matters too.
Yeah.
So he's just so much fun to write about. I did not expect this. I really thought that we'd be hearing a retirement announcement from him.
Yeah. So this is probably going to tie itself to Eric Fisher, and I'd rather you try to pretend that we didn't get any Eric Fisher, which honestly maybe it's best to treat it that way anyway, any Eric Fisher updates. But specific to Schwartz, maybe this doesn't mean you got to make your choice on how they're going to use their picks and their free agent money this offseason. But how confident are you feeling at this point based on Schwartz getting surgery, his terms about, looking forward to an injury-free 2021, Brett Veach saying that it looks like Schwartz should be good to go by the beginning of training camp. How confident are you that we're going to actually see Mitch Schwartz in a way that looks like Mitchell Schwartz?
I'm fairly confident in it. Back surgery is never a good thing. Mm-hmm. It's got to be kind of a unique issue if they really thought that he might be able to play through it, and he just wanted to give it a shot because he clearly knew surgery would shut him down for the remainder of the season, a couple months at least. He seems confident. He's a guy who, he hit every snap for like a decade, right? Mm-hmm. This is a guy who knows how to play through little things. And so I'm confident. I don't think he would be trying to come back if he didn't think he could and if he didn't think he'd be at his best. It's not like, this guy's he's a perfectionist. He's not going to be happy coming back and playing poorly. So I'm pretty confident about that, partly because of the timing of the surgery and that he didn't seem too rushed about it. He directly said he thought it would be a pretty quick turnaround. I'm pretty confident in Mitch Schwartz. And I know we're not supposed to bring up Eric Fisher, but I'm going to use it for a frame of reference.
Yeah.
I'm much more confident in Mitch Schwartz being back for training camp than I am Eric Fisher.
So let's talk about Fisher then. So we get the update from Veach yesterday. That was yesterday, huh? Yesterday morning, Veach's press conference, he talks about the timelines for Patrick Mahomes, who I don't think we're worried about in any particular way at this point, with his turf toe surgery and everything. Mitchell Schwartz, and then also says that Eric Fisher is going to be on track for training camp, mid-August return. Veach was referring to his notes from Rick Burkholder. We've played that audio here and everything. At this point, I imagine most people kind of have a general frame of reference for all of that. But I guess, what did you think whenever you heard that, and then what's playing into your pessimism, perhaps, at this point, if that's fair to say?
I guess I just don't know a lot of situations where a guy came back from a torn Achilles in 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's happened. I know on Times Ours, Nate pointed out that Terrell Suggs came back from a torn Achilles in like 6 or 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems awfully optimistic, considering, again, you got to think, he was injured in the second to last game of the year.
Yeah.
With an injury that's known to be a pretty brutal one.
Yeah.
And so it's just hard to believe. Like, with the back thing, I guess it's because I don't know specifics, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if I knew it was the type of injury that normally takes people, 8 to 12 months to come back from, I would not feel super confident in Schwartz being back in time and ready to play, because he got the surgery in February, right? And so, whereas with him, there's more unknowns there, but he seems confident, so that gives me confidence. And Rick Burkholder is great at his job.
Mm-hmm.
So far be it for me to question him, because I would never, because he's a much smarter human than I am, among many other reasons. Mm-hmm. But it's just hard when you know what the standard timeline is for such things. And again, maybe Rick has seen something in his recovery where he's like, wow, Fish, you're like 3 months ahead. And if so, hey, great. Mm-hmm. That would be incredible news for the Chiefs. But it's just a little harder to believe because we're more familiar with torn Achilles.
Yeah. So take it this way, then. Again, this is something that we talked about with Nate in today's Times Ours, and we'll probably be able to have gotten into a little more detail with there. But honestly, I guess we started the show with just me and Nate, so there's some of this I haven't heard from you on yet. But one thing I do know is that you're not super excited about the idea of the Chiefs going into this season. Let's say with 3 guys currently on the roster, if the 3 tackles are Mitch Schwartz, Eric Fisher, and Lucas Niang, you're going to be uneasy, I think it's fair to say.
I'm going to be very uneasy. I think in that situation, you at the very least try to bring Mike Remmers back
Yeah.
to have a swing tackle as a backup. Lucas Niang, I think they drafted him in the 3rd round.
Yep.
And, he's had a year now to prepare. Now, the problem is it wasn't a typical year.
Yep.
Obviously, by him opting out, this is going to be technically his rookie year this next year. So maybe they said him, I don't know. His college tape was very good overall. Tons of physical talent. He actually is more of he's a little stronger. He's a little more noticeable with his amount of strength when he gets his hands on guys, at least at the college level. We'll see if that translates. And so I always assumed the plan when they drafted him was for him to start his 2nd year. But now I don't know because they just haven't had a chance to work with him. So I'm not sure what they'll do with him. It just does make me uncomfortable with the idea of relying on Fisher and Schwartz now knowing that if that's the plan and they go down, it's devastating and the chances of them going down are higher or not being ready to go, right? They're significantly higher than they were this time last year. We always knew, you and I talked about it all the time, hey, who'd be the worst Chief for them to lose besides Mahomes? You and I would often at least talk about Mitch Schwartz.
Yeah, it would usually go Kelsey Hill, and then the conversation usually Schwartz. Yeah,
yeah, and that I think that bore out the fact Mike Remmers deserves a lot of credit for the fact that it didn't hurt them as much as it could have.
Mm-hmm.
He played pretty well at right tackle all year, and it helped. But if that's your plan, and there's an increased chance of injury, it would be similar to how I would feel, only a little less so, if the Chiefs, let's say Sammy Watkins went out and tested free agency, didn't get any offers that he really liked, and said, well, hey, I'll come back for a bargain bin price, right?
Yeah.
Even if they did that, and they got him at dirt cheap, $3 million or something like that, I would still be nervous if that was their plan at X receiver because he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And so it almost makes you nervous hearing that they're going to be back because it's like, well, wait, are they going to rely on that? Because it makes me wonder, well, I kind of assumed that they would maybe go after a tackle in free agency or draft one. Now it's like, oh, but what if they rely on that? So it's actually, with Fisher, it's raised my anxiety a bit in terms of if they rely on him, they better be really sure. And I don't know how you can be really sure with that kind of thing in, 3 weeks and then 1 month, right? Because free agency and the draft are coming up now.
I think the comparison to the receiver position is a very apt one because you've got a couple things you feel okay about, really good about in the case of Tyreek Hill and a healthy Mitch Schwartz. Guess that's TBD a little bit. But in terms of oh, really? You don't want to try to, add some reinforcements there or maybe even raise the ceiling a little bit, I think makes a lot of sense. The thing that in a kind of shifting to the draft logic now, because I'll let you spend some free agency money if you're feeling like it here in a second. But it seems like a lot of, I don't know if this is analysts or mostly fans. Honestly, I don't really know if it matters. But something that seems like that's come up a lot is this idea of, well, the Chiefs still need to draft a tackle in the first round. They gotta add a tackle, and they can't be doing any of this 3rd round, 4th round bleep anymore. They got to go get a tackle. I don't think that the logic there is terribly wrong, but I do think that it's a little silly to assume that whichever tackles are available at 31 overall are going to be some sort of sure thing at left tackle in week 1 of their rookie season. It just, that to me, or even just better than Lucas Niang. If you said, hey, you can either get Lucas Niang with everything that's happened with his career so far, or just whoever's at 31 at left tackle, I think I would probably take Niang with the expectation that he got that he got the playbook and some phone numbers before he opted out. That alone would kind of tempt me in that regard. And obviously he's been healthy. So yeah, what do you think about the idea of what they should do then if you do want them to keep adding to the tackle spots?
I think that's a really good point you make with regards to Niang. And the big thing with him was that he wasn't quite your typical 3rd round pick.
Right.
it was made very clear, like a lot of draft sites, and obviously this isn't the end-all, be-all, but they had good reasons for it. A lot of draft sites really liked that pick.
Yeah.
Because they said, this is a dude that had, because he was considered, after not the 2019 season, but after the 2018 season, he went into that next season considered maybe the potential best tackle in the class. And then he got hurt. Then he played hurt for a while. And you and I talked about this when they drafted him. He might have been better off just sitting out.
Yeah.
Because, his tape wasn't as good, but he was backpedaling instead of sliding. And he clearly was not feeling all right. And it made teams a little bit skittish. Whereas had he just gotten the surgery earlier, he might have been fully healthy by the time the combine came around. You know what I mean? Yeah. That was one of those situations where he honestly tried to do too much and do it in the wrong way. And so I think he was considered a first-round talent, and he slid to the third, so people love that. So I think especially with that, you're not going to grab – if there was a guy who you were like, oh, this guy is a guy you can plug and play at left tackle and get above-average play right out of the gate, those guys go in the top 20 at least.
Yeah.
At the very least. And if you've got guys who are like, oh, I think this guy's going to be a really great left tackle, those guys go in the top 10. Like Sewell, that dude's not dropping to, the mid-20s where the Chiefs can trade up to get him.
Yeah.
Right? If the two top guys drop to the teams are going to trade up for them. And so then by the time you get to the end of the first round with tackles, you're dealing with guys that are a lot like Niang. They've got some red flag, or they're considered a little lower ceiling, or they're a little more boom or bust, right? And so I don't know how much better off you are there. And so honestly, if it comes down to that, if they think they like Niang and they like Mitch Schwartz's chances of being healthy, I would almost prefer they go the interior offensive line where the more high-level prospects can potentially drop to 31.
This is a little bit of just kind of a random. Without any real expectation of what the result would be, I just clicked the 2018 NFL draft because it's long enough ago to have a little bit of a sample size. The first lineman off the board was Mike McGlinchey, who was drafted by the 49ers. He was the 9th overall pick, and I know Mike McGlinchey's name mostly from seeing 49ers fans be furious at him last year on like a weekly basis. Like I just went to a Niners website doing like a little off-season housekeeping thing, and they're saying he's not going anywhere, but we have no idea if they're going to pick up their fifth year option or not. If you're not picking up the fifth year option of the number 9 overall pick, that stinks. And that was that was a tackle in the top 10. Like just picking from a random year that we have some sample sizes for. Like, even if you go up Colton Miller at 15, people were laughing at, and it might have ended up being an okay pick, I guess. It's just even the sure things aren't sure things by any means.
Especially at the offensive line. And that used to be one of the more sure things in the draft, right? You could project a little bit better there than most other positions. The thing is, playing offensive line in college right now is very different than playing offensive line in the NFL. And not just in terms of like, you're going up against, boys instead of men and all this stuff. That's always been the case. But now you're talking in terms of actual technique that's being taught and schemes that are being run. It's an entirely different thing, and that's tough for people to overcome. And it also makes them very tough to project. So I completely agree, and that's kind of the problem, especially the lower in the draft you get, the less of a sure thing, quote-unquote, guys become. And we can all think of players who were sure things. I mean, crud, the year Eric Fisher got drafted number 1 overall, it was a huge competition between him and Luke Jokel, who was considered the sure thing, right?
Yep.
And I don't think he's in the league anymore.
No, I don't think he's been in the league for a few years.
Right. And so it's just there's no sure thing, including an offensive line. And that's why I get really hesitant. Like you said, the idea is great. Yeah, draft a tackle to shore up your offensive line. But that's one of the problems I have with drafting position instead of player is that in certain areas of the draft, you are very specifically handicapping yourself by going after a certain position at 31. And tackle happens to be one of those because those guys still mean a great deal and are going to get drafted higher. And that's where I would go more the interior. And this is just anecdotal evidence, mind you. When I think anecdotally of interior guys who were thought of very highly as like first rounders, generally speaking, it feels like they hit more often. And again, I have done the amount of research I've done on that statement, Josh, is it's not tremendous. But anecdotally, and I'm not just talking about like generational guys like Quentin Nelson. Everyone knew that guy was going to be unbelievable. But even other guys that you just that the expectations are that they're good offensive linemen, that seems to pan out more often on the interior. And I think that's partly because those guys go in like the 20s or the late first round or the second round. And so that's maybe a direction I would go because, again, offensive line is a sum of its parts, and they can help Patrick Mahomes and help the rest of the offensive line by having improved play at guard. That's one reason why Kelechi Osemele helped Assembly. I do that every time, don't I?
You did it.
Kelechi
When
Assembly.
you do it confidently enough, it's hard to catch you on it. So
yeah, no, I just remembered because it sounds like I'm saying he's smelly, and it's ridiculous. But and again, I've been corrected on this so many times. But he helped the offensive line by playing at a level at left guard higher than the Chiefs had seen in recent years, and it had a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And so that's something worth noting in terms of maybe utilizing the interior pick. You get maybe a better chance of getting a sure thing because you're absolutely right about the flaw in that logic with the tackle at 31.
So Luke Jokel played 4 years with the Jags and then 1 year with Seattle in 2017, and that's the end of his Pro Football Reference page, which is wild. Rookie contract,
and he was
one more
a
year.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
He was the high floor guy.
Yes, he
Whereas
was. That's
Fisher,
exactly right. Fisher was the high upside guy.
Yep, and hey, I mean, it's not like Fisher's been incredible, but when you look back at that 2013 draft, honestly, getting Eric Fisher there, that's not that bad in terms of like realistic picks. You know, you can always go back and like, well, this guy was drafted in the 4th round and he's a star. It's like, okay, let's be realistic in terms of how they were projected. You know, everyone says now, like, you know, every team now says, you know, we really liked Mahomes coming out. We just, And so it is an interesting thing, and it does freak me out to, you know, close the loop. It does freak me out a little, the idea that they might depend on Fisher and Schwartz being healthy. But again, I trust Rick Burkholder a ton. I mean, he is a great, great athletic trainer. He does a great job with them. But I would want them to still maybe go offensive line, because then if something doesn't work out, maybe you still have strength throughout the offensive line that you can lean on a little bit more.
That 2013, we do this show here on Almost Entirely Sports' illustrious radio program. Once a month or so, I think we end up going back down the rabbit hole of, hey, remember how bad the 2013 draft ended up going? But, like, if you want to tell me how many of these picks were definitely better than Eric Fisher, you can tell me when to stop. We might be going for a while, though. Eric Fisher, Luke Jokel, Deion Jordan, Lane Johnson, Ezekiel Ansah, Barkevius Mingo, Jonathan Cooper, Tavon Austin, Dean Milner. Remember Dean Milner? I wanted Dean Milner so bad.
Yeah, I wanted Dean Milner too.
It's just...
So I would say of all the names you just listed, Lane Johnson is the only player who's objectively better than Fisher.
And he's also had some very strange pockets of his career, though, where, like, if you wanted to even nitpick a little bit about how, like, because he had the suspension and everything, and then he had an injury issue. I think that if you wanted to redo, especially the tackles, Johnson probably needs to go first. But it's not like I'm not losing my mind. Then it's Chance Warmack, DJ Fluker, DJ Hayden, Sheldon Richardson, Star Latulele, Kenny Vaccaro, EJ Manuel, the first quarterback off the board. There's not anything there in the top 16 where you're just like beside yourself.
Absolutely, and that's demonstrative of one of the problems with the draft.
Yeah,
and so I'm all on board with them addressing the offensive line and being aggressive with it. But I think, you know, at 31 again, I think you would need to go interior line unless they get really lucky and one of the blue chip guys drops to a spot they feel like they can trade up for him. And I don't think there's a lot of teams, especially like AFC teams. Can you imagine if you're an AFC team and the Chiefs call you and like, I don't know, like Waddle is still on the board, and they call you and say, hey, we'd like to trade up for your pick. You know for a fact, at least half the teams in the AFC are telling them to go straight to hell.
Yes.
Like, they're not even, they're like, oh, yeah, so you can grab another 4-2 guy. Screw you, Brett Veach.
Yes.
We're not doing this. And it wouldn't even matter what you offered. And it might be a similar thing if a great tackle's left on board. It's like, oh, that's great. You want Mahomes to have, like, a ton of time and protection? How about no? Instead, we don't. So it's just a tough place to be in. And that's why you're probably going to end up with the Chiefs, like we talked about times ours. They're going to take some defensive end that everyone had graded out as a third rounder.
Yep. I just think at this point, I've said this now on a number of times, a number of places. But if I could just get odds on what position group the Chiefs would take with their first round pick, I think edge at this point is just it would just be absolutely incredible value. While everyone's talking about offensive linemen, I think edge would be such a good value. We may end up having that conversation again on this show at some point in the future. But one more thing on the offensive line, and then we'll let you go and continue about your birthday festivities. I imagine enormous plans just have to be absolutely
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, the older you get, the bigger a deal people make out of it, or something to that effect. I share my birthday with my son,
which is crazy. That's a bad break. I mean, that's just it's
a rough break for me.
It's not really your birthday.
No, it's not. No one cares. Let's be honest.
I care. I could give a bleep about your son's birthday.
I appreciate.
I don't care about his birthday at all. What's he ever done for this radio show? Nothing.
And even though he's obviously in a different location, so he won't necessarily hear this. But so it's my son Tucker's 15th birthday. So happy birthday, Tucker! There is not a dad out there that has a better son. There's absolutely not. So he'll never hear that, and that's why I can say tender-hearted things, because there's no way he'll hear it. So that's like a good father does.
Right, and then we can have this filed away at some point, and then years in the future, we can. That maybe he'll just get a micro SD card in an envelope at his house, and it'll just be that audio clip, and it'll be touching. We'll put it in a Build-A-Bear or something. It'll be great.
Yes. Although he did make me feel ancient yesterday when I drove him to a job interview.
Oh, I saw you tweet about that.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, that had to be a moment, right?
It was a moment, and I made sure, because I didn't want him to be nervous, so I didn't make too big a thing out of it. So I'm going to drop you off. I'm not going in there with you, because that's not, that's not what men do. We don't, or adults, frankly. That's not a gender issue.
Not supportive, barely even care. Just, you open the door and see if he rolls out it.
But
yeah.
It's just
like a man.
Hey, you're going to do great. I told him he's going to do great. Don't be too nervous. Just be yourself. I think I stole a bunch of Andy Reid's lines and Patrick Mahomes' lines. All you need to do here is be yourself.
Yeah.
Let's go out there and be great every single day. Yeah. And but I aged so much. I was just I just dropped my son off at a job interview. My son might have a job. That's how old I am. Yeah. And it's disconcerting.
Well, I don't want you to dox your son's potential employer, but can you tell us what type of place of employment it is by general genre?
Hardware store.
That seems pretty good. That seems like a pretty good first job, honestly.
It does. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. They told him they'd get back to him because they've got some applicants, but he did tell him that he really liked them, and so. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Is he old enough to use a bandsaw legally, or?
Yeah, we're in rural Minnesota. It's more like guidelines than actual rules here. Maybe that's the advantage of having your, and I can call myself this now, having your old man be the assistant county attorney. You can tell the boss, the county will look the other way if you do this.
Such a good point. Yeah, you can cut him a good break. What's the point of having that kind of power if you're not going to use it to help your kid get a job at a hardware store?
Unless I'm abusing the incredibly small amount of power I have, I don't understand what the point of law school was. Honestly,
seriously, I think I feel like that should be on law school applications. Do you plan to abuse this tiny amount of power you have years in the future?
Yeah.
And if you check no, they just reject your application because we don't need you here.
Yeah, they're just no, we don't need lawyers like that. That's ridiculous.
This is an awkward now circle back to the segue, but I got half of this topic out and I just wanted to put a bow on it. You want the Chiefs to break the bank and just go get Trent Williams, right? You can be honest. It's your birthday.
Yes, yes, I do. I understand. Look, I've got a piece that I'm working on right now for the Chief in the North about salary cap shenanigans.
Yes.
And let me just tell people that there's some things they could do to where if they really wanted to break the bank on one player, they could. Now, it would be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very tough. Mm-hmm. And yes, it would mean kicking, money down the road, and maybe that'll come back and haunt them one day. But I think if 2020 taught us anything, is that there might be a world-ending pandemic next year.
Sure.
And so what are we doing trying to say, hey, let's plan for 8 years from now. How about instead we go out and try to win a Super Bowl in 2021, huh? So if I had my druthers, and I like Eric Fisher a lot, and maybe he'd be willing to do some kind of restructure that extends him out an extra year to see if he gets healthy again. Mm-hmm. But I would go for it with Trent Williams and say, hey, you want to win a ring? We can pay you a little less, but we can still pay you good money, provided we have some flexibility here. Do I think it'll happen? Absolutely not. I think Trent Williams is going to have some team offer him like $20 million a year.
It would be fun though. Whatever. I hope we get
so
one.
Fun.
I hope we get one surprisingly large signing. Whoever that ends up being. One name we're like, oh, I know who that guy is. All right. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Whether it's
it's going to be an edge, but.
Yeah, it's going to be an edge rusher. Although it would be kind of fun if, the Chiefs signed Shaq Barrett. Okay.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be very fun, and he'd be a fit, by the way, that he's going to get paid. So it would be a lot of fun to do. Plus, if it were like an offensive player like Trent Williams, or like if they somehow, and this isn't going to happen, Chiefs fans, if they somehow figured out a way to sign Allen Robinson,
mm-hmm.
the angst of other fan bases. Do you remember when it seemed like the Broncos just kept signing guys?
Yeah.
And kept signing guys? And it was like, how are they getting away with this?
Yes.
That it would be like that. Like the whole, what's the Breaking Bad gif,
yeah.
You can't keep getting away with it. It would be great.
That would be excellent. So tell me really quick here, then we'll actually let you go for real. What's the plan for things coming up? There's the athletic story coming up very soon, probably tomorrow. What you would do if you're Brett Veach, kind of the 10,000-foot view. What's the plan for maybe the next week or so from the Chief of the North newsletter that people can go sign up for a ridiculously low price of basically Seth will pay you to read it? It's pretty much like that at mnchiefsfan.substack.com.
So the plan right now, I'm working on an article to talk about why the salary cap is more flexible than people think. And this is true even in this year of COVID depression. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about that why. So it's going to talk about, what it means with bonuses and structures, what it means guaranteed versus non-guaranteed money, that kind of stuff. And then what the Chiefs can do to save some cap money. Then what I want to do is write about some bold moves that I would maybe make in free agency. Those are always fun to write, like the big swings, where it's like, well, you can only do one of these 5 ideas, but let's write about all 5 of them just to get people revved up.
Right.
So that's fun.
It's fun.
And then I'm going to I can't remember exactly when free agency starts. Once that starts to settle down, I'll obviously do film reviews of the free agents that they sign. And when I have time, I'm going to do a review of L'Jarius Sneed and then Frank Clark, reviewing at least 8 of their games to kind of get a comprehensive view of how they played in 2020.
Looking forward to both of those in a very big way. I didn't know that the Frank Clark one was coming. That'll be whatever. I don't care what the takeaway ends up being. It's going to be spicy. I can feel already there's going to be some spice. There's going to be some thoughts about that. So I look forward to that whenever it happens. Check it out, mnchiefsfan.substack.com, the Chief of the North newsletter. You can follow Seth on Twitter, @RealMNChiefsFan. And listen, I just think it's great that we have some of our more elderly, media members doing some more kind of new media things, like starting a Substack. So, Seth, happy birthday. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Good luck on the Big 5-0.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate it, as always, even though you're a terrible person.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Menards is your complete bathroom remodeling headquarters. Come in and check out our great selection of over 50 Magic Woods vanities. Magic Woods offers a combination of quality construction and styles ranging from traditional to contemporary that are sure to match your lifestyle. Best of all Magic Woods bathroom vanities are 11% off. Good through March 6th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
During these challenging times, everyone is talking about the Freedom Loan exclusive at A1 Mortgage. After the financial crash of 2008, we knew there had to be a better and smarter way to finance your home. The Freedom Loan. It will take years off your mortgage, saving you thousands in interest. Need cash? No problem. Need a break on payments? No problem. The Freedom Loan may be the last loan you ever need. The managers of A1 Mortgage could have any loan they want, and they chose the Freedom Loan. Why wait? Start saving thousands and getting your freedom back today. Call 816-822-8888. That's 822-8888. Or apply at mya1mortgage.com.
A1 Mortgage, making your dreams a reality is what we do.
A1 Mortgage Group, LLC, a Kansas licensed mortgage company. License number MC0001649, Missouri license number 16-1556, NMLS number 268370. Terms and conditions apply, subject to change without notice.
Hi, this is Justin Cole, Private Wealth Manager at Creative Planning. Over the last few years, we have grown to one of the largest nationally recognized wealth management firms in the country. While we are proud of our success, we're most proud of our Kansas City roots. We were founded in Kansas City and remain headquartered here because there's no place we'd rather be. We're Kansas City strong. Thank you, Kansas City, for giving us a vibrant community in which to thrive. And thank you to our clients for putting your trust in us. We don't take this lightly. If you're not a client, we invite you to reach out for a free, no-obligation financial review with our experienced team of investment professionals, CPAs, and lawyers who will work together to build a comprehensive plan for you. You can find us at creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com. Or by calling 913-338-2727. 913-338-2727. Learn for yourself how Creative Planning has earned our recognition as a top national wealth advisory firm.
Men, do you suffer from erectile dysfunction or Peyronie's disease? Has Viagra stopped working? Most ED cases are caused by plaque buildup, which causes blockages and restricts blood flow. Even Viagra can't get through. But thanks to the doctors at West Coast Men's Health, a revolutionary medical procedure is now available. Using acoustic wave therapy, this non-invasive, pain-free treatment breaks down plaque, restores blood flow, potentially reversing ED for good. And women, if your man has ED, talk to him about acoustic wave therapy and how West Coast Men's Health can help, regardless of age or medical history. Call 913-243-3200 to schedule an evaluation. Be one of the first 10 callers and qualify for the special $99 consult fee, normally $199. That's 913-243-3200. Or online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
If you have an urgent orthopedic or sports injury, the University of Kansas Health System is open, safe, and has extended hours to see you quickly. Your orthopedic and sports injuries deserve treatment from the experts who treat the Royals. Request an appointment at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. The University of Kansas Health System is the official healthcare provider of the Kansas City Royals. Request your appointment today at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening.
Sure.
Who's able to hear more than what's being said and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Today on Hey Culligan, the best things in life are free. Water tests. Let's go to Candace.
Hey, Culligan, how do I learn more about my water?
Candace, let me just test the waters here.
Okay.
Literally test your water.
Oh.
For free.
Free?
Free, Candace. In-home water tests for free. So you know more about your water and how to make it better with Culligan water. And Candace.
Yeah?
We're already on the way.
Oh, good.
Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
My beard is at a level of voluminosity. Not Illuminati, Larry Johnson. I know you're listening. Dude, his Twitter account, don't use that as a liner. I don't want you to use that as a liner. I don't want Larry Johnson to find a picture of me from when I was 13 covering one eye. I don't know, I just did it. Oh, I just did it on Facebook, and now you can take that screenshot, and now I'm a devil worshiper or something. Oh, now he's going to cut me saying I'm a devil worshiper.
With Joshua Brisco.
I'm a devil worshiper.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I just realized the devil voice of mine that apparently comes out whenever I'm trying to defend myself against Larry Johnson or whatever sounds exactly like the host voice in Trivia Murder Party, the Jackbox game. You guys played Trivia Murder Party?
No.
It's really good, and also reminds me for the millionth time that whenever, I don't know when our best range is gonna be, but we need to do a little AES Jackbox at some point.
It'll be fun.
A little Twitch stream, a little Twitch. Would be very good if we can figure it out at some point. Trivia Murder Party, one of many Jackbox games. It's just excellent. An important thanks again to Seth Keysor, and also happy birthday, Seth. There are a handful of questions that showed up through the Twitch about, who do you like at Edge and that range and all that stuff. We will talk about that tomorrow. In fact, there's even some Brett Veach audio that we just simply didn't get to today. We'll do some of that tomorrow as well. Twitch is very on board with the on-brand AES Jackbox. Well,
it'll be fun.
It will, honestly.
At some point.
Well, here's the thing. The issue is the three.
Laugh is just weird.
It was weird. That was an odd laugh.
I don't know.
One of the three of us is almost always working or sleeping. Maybe literally always. One of the three of us, at least one of the three of us, is almost always working or sleeping.
Pretty close.
And then we got to get more people to join in. So it's just a bit of a toughie sometimes. But we're going to try to figure it out. Also, on the NBA front.
Only 9 days, though.
We are near. There is I want to say we're near. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatched, although Jay Crowder just hit another three.
What's the score?
Suns right now are up on the Lakers 34-27. Nice. 10 minutes left in the second quarter.
Sorry, Jokic just posterized Chris Middleton.
The Nuggets are up right now, right?
97-78 with 30 seconds left in the third.
So that's probably going to happen. The Celtics beat the Clippers earlier.
Yep.
There's a chance that there's going to be an AES NBA sweep tonight. That we may clean sweep it.
My soul just disappeared on that.
Your soul disappeared?
Yeah, watching Jokic just posterize Chris Middleton.
Why would that make your soul disappear? I just watched Alex Caruso bobble a pass, which made my soul disappear.
That'll also make your soul disappear.
I don't know why
Jokic
that means your
have my soul. He's a Jokic, the Soul Reaper.
Yeah, he could definitely reap your soul. That seems reasonable.
You wouldn't have to reap it. I just give it.
I don't know if it works the same way then.
Jokic, the soul receiver.
Jokic, the sole assister. But then it just sounds like he's killing you, and then the Grim Reaper comes in and cleans up the mess or whatever. So I don't know if that's necessarily the best use of our time. LeBron James also good at basketball. I don't know if you guys knew that, but he does appear to still be good at basketball.
He's pretty good. I'm just waiting to see if there's 10 seconds left in the quarter. I just want to see if the Nuggets get to 100 at the end of by the end of the
Yeah,
third.
I mean, I personally don't care. Beards, do you care?
No, not really.
I hope they missed it. They missed it.
No, he missed it. I'm just seeing if they got the tip in before the clock expired. Nope. I'm not for sure.
Beards, can you please tell me the names of the three people in the NBA dunk contest?
Real fast, Jokic, 27 points, 11 assists, 5
just cut his mic. You can just cut his mic. Whenever he says Jokic, you can just cut his mic.
No, I'll do that.
New rule. New rules. You can.
Bucket counts, 99. We're up 19.
99 is not the same as 100.
No, it's not.
I think don't cut his mic. Just cut the volume in half.
Okay. So
we are up 19.
The dunk contest this year features 3 people, which is usually less than 4, which is what they usually do.
Yeah.
It's 3 less than 4?
Obi Toppin, who is averaging 4.5 points a game.
Yeah, but Obi Toppin is he led the NCAA. He led college basketball.
I've heard of him.
He did, but
I
he
knew
has
him
also
from
been
college.
Done very little
Obi
in the NBA
Toppin
top
can't be stopping.
You can go ahead and 50% his volume if you want.
Cool. And then it is Anthony Simons of the Blazers, who is also...
It's pronounced Anthony.
It's Anthony.
That was a joke.
Who is also averaging...
It's pronounced Anthony
less
Simmons.
than 10 points
You can cut my mic if you want now
And then
also.
it is Cassius Stanley, who is a Fort Wayne Mad Ant and has played 8 games this year in the NBA.
A Fort Wayne Mad Ant?
Yep.
But he's a Duke guy.
He is. However, he is
Brotherhood.
barely on an NBA roster. It's going to be bad this year.
It's the Brotherhood.
That's a tough dunk contest. I know that doing it at the halftime of the All-Star game was tough already.
Can you turn my mic up?
I don't mind having only 3 people because it's already different. But if you could get one of 3 people that has done anything on the NBA level whatsoever, that would have been
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not great.
Anthony Edwards, Zion, and
I'm guessing, but those guys
Jokic.
I imagine, yes, he would have won.
No.
I said Zion. Zion would win. Jokic
This
would
is
just
the
look
quietest the bump music's ever been. Is everything okay?
There's a loud fan.
Okay, that's
That might be
fine.
true, yeah.
I'm just worried about our technical difficulties even at the very end of the show. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night. Bye, Mom!
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Schlotzsky's has just what you need to start the new year